Well, we'll call the work session to order. Roll call, please.
Brown. Here. Calhoun.
Here.
Fournier.
Here.
Crop.
Here.
McGarity.
Here.
Rick.
Here.
York.
Here.
Okay, this is the portion of the meeting that we allow the public to address the commission. All that we ask is you come to the microphone, give us your full name, your residential address, and you abide by our 3-minute rule. Would you like to address the commission, Mickey? Okay.
It's called
Thank
open
you.
mic night.
Excellent. Yeah. All right. Well, then we will move on to discussion of the strategic plan. So I just want to, before I hand it over to Mr. Shipman and the staff and everybody, I just want to first take a second to say how incredibly difficult the last 24 hours has been for, I know, everyone at the city. Everybody in the city, I know, is feeling very terrible about the news of the person that lost their life yesterday morning. And it's weighed very heavily on me, and I imagine it's weighed very heavily on all of you. That being said, I definitely had a pause to say, do we even do this meeting today? Because, you know, it's difficult, and everyone has a right to feel the heaviness of the day. And so, we obviously put a lot into trying to find a date and get everybody together. And so we didn't want that to go to waste. So we're here, and I hope that everyone can kind of power through. And I just want to acknowledge the person that passed away, and I want to make sure that we all understand that, you know, we are all feeling the weight of that. And so I also, in my mind, feel as though I want to hear from the staff. I'm really excited that all of you have put a lot of effort into making presentations to the commission about what you and what we as a team have accomplished. And I'm really excited to hear that. And I know the commissioners are too. And I hope that we can get through that tonight. You know, and maybe we will be able to go further. We'll see. But I think we need to just kind of acknowledge that it was a difficult day. So with that being said, I'll hand it over to you.
I'm just going to say a couple words and hand it right back to you. But that's okay.
That's fine.
Well, thanks everybody for being here tonight. It's important that when we do strategic planning, we have everybody here if we can, and we do, so that's great. You know, we first started this process back in about 2020 because we had no plan, and it has evolved immensely since those days. You know, it started out very simple and basic, as you can imagine, and it's, you know, evolved into what we have today, which is, you know, what I think was a really great plan. It's very presentable to the public, and I think it makes us look good as a community. It's important because it's the roadmap that the commission sets for administration to follow, right? And it sets our goals and objectives that we want to reach not only daily, but annually and beyond. And so it's important to get this done, you know, in January, because we utilize this as part of the budget process as well. So, Mayor, I think we talked and you said you would walk us through the plan and kind of see how the commission feels as we go here and how we want to approach this. Normally we would take each topic, and whatever department would be responsible for that would comment on where we're at with what we've completed with it and where we're going in the future. Give you an idea of, you know, what we've done in the last, I guess it's been about 1.5 years since we, when we redid the plan, it got pushed back a little bit last time, so.
Yeah, so we'll start by going to the page where it has organizational mission and core values, just so that we can review it and say, yeah, that's why we're all here, right? So our Mount Clemens embraces its diverse community with pride. And we have an organizational mission, and that is to enhancing our community through effective and equitable public services. And our organizational core values are progressive, which is moving forward, building community; responsive, which is service-oriented, elected and appointed officials; inclusive, we're welcoming and respectful of all; dynamic,
Yep.
which positive, energetic, and always willing to engage, and ethical, doing what is right in the best interest of the entire community. So obviously we need to update our picture on that page. It's okay, we'll get there. All right, so objective number 1, if you go to page 6. So we are at the excellence in government, a government agency who strives to be knowledgeable, properly equipped, and equitable, utilizing data to make informed, effective decisions and improve people's quality of life. So that is our first part of the, or I would say first goal of the strategic plan. And that has an objective of, number 1, embedded equity throughout government operations. And so for our first strategy, use community services equitably across the entire community. And I think that is going to you.
It is me. So as a city, we strive to make sure services such as snow plowing, street sweeping, street repair, recreation offerings are distributed as equally as possible throughout the community. And I think if you look at our road repair, that we've been so fortunate to do in the last few years, we always make sure, because we got enough bad roads, unfortunately, everywhere, we always try to make sure that we distribute those repairs equally, throughout the community. There's other areas where we can't necessarily do that, like with CDBG funding. It's great that we get the funding, but they're very limited to the areas that we can use it at. But we're not going to say no to it just because it kind of keeps going to the same 2 or 3 areas, but that's something that we don't have control of. But the things that we can control, we always keep that in mind with any project we take on or any services we provide.
And the nice part about CDBG has always been, it's going to what was historically underserved communities. So.
Yep.
All right, number 2, diversity, equity, and inclusion training summary implementation. And we'll start with the first bullet point there, share evaluation results and strategy themes for moving forward with leadership and staff. Who's that going to?
Kevin, that would be Kevin's area.
Yeah, so I'm going to cover the whole page
Perfect.
with a little walk through history, what we've done. So we didn't start with an awful lot when it came to DEI and some of the principles that we covered here. And I know I'm going to report on this, but I got to tell you that most of this is Greg's vision. And yeah, I'm going to report on it. Yeah, I had a lot of help to do with it, but it was directives given in that nature.
If you like the vision, it was my idea. If you don't like the vision, it was Kevin's.
Yeah, I should have set it up better.
That would depend on whether you get that payment.
So none of this is my fault.
So you could have never done it alone.
Well, nobody does do anything alone, right?
Right.
Yeah, but so we started in February 2024 with DEI training, and that was conducted by the Learning Group, and they customized some content for us based on anonymous employee surveys, and we broke it out into separate sessions where we purposely didn't have supervisors there to get more true opinions to help conduct the training. The training agenda was an overview, trends in research, conscious inclusion, foundations of a conscious inclusion, being proactive in inclusion. The thing I'm going to refer to throughout what I'm about to talk to is the last thing that we came up with, and is the moving forward stuff. And there was multiple themes. There was a start theme, a stop theme, and a continue theme. And the start actions were ensure inclusion, interdepartmental awareness, communication, departmental decisions, employees come together, training, collaboration. The stop that they identified was judging, resisting change, inaction, department inequality, exclusion environment. And the continue was the social committee, inclusion, community engagement, departmental learning, strategic planning, recognition, and training. One of the items that we had in place, but it was in its infancy, was a social committee. It was implemented in 2023 at Greg's request. And it was basically just a couple of the City Hall employees. And it was really designed to try and get people together as a team and to have more unity throughout the city. Since the training has happened, we've expanded that to representatives from the co-founders, which were some city hall members, purchasing, human resources, recreation, streets, and the water department. Events that the social committee has planned for this year, and basically what we've done the last couple of years. There's a baseball game. Quite frankly, Craig finances that. There's a city cookout. There's after-work bowling. There's an ice cream social, potluck breakfast, potluck Thanksgiving, and Christmas luncheon. A bunch of stuff where people can get together and know each other better. Some community charitable events, which we're all very proud of, is we've worked with organizations to support local families, and we've done money and gift donations. And I think my count was over 40 families since the social committee started that we've helped. And we're going to continue those as well this year. We've also participated in back to school drives, helping children get the basics to start the school year. So some of the fun stuff that we put together, we have a sports week where everybody can wear their, like one day is a Pistons day, one day is a Lions day, one day is a college day. We do some internal funding through some the Super Bowl squares and stuff of that nature. The Halloween skeleton contest, you see that here. We actively participate in that. Christmas door decorating, which is an internal thing that we go through. So as listed in the moving forward part of the DEI training, how does the social committee help us? It started more inclusion. It started more interdepartmental awareness. Employees are coming together. There's departmental decisions. There's collaboration. And what it continued was the social committee and community engagement. And I got some other stuff that's going to be coming up at the end. I'm probably just going to go right through it all because it all kinds of ties together, and we're all tying to the principles of what we learned in the DEI training. So we've had some additional training this year as well. We had leadership training. Leadership training was done in May of 2024. That was provided by the leadership group. Attendees for that were city managers, commission, department heads, and supervisors. And that objective of that training was to equip leaders with skills and knowledge to effectively manage and enhance individual performance, leading to improved productivity and overall success. We also had customer service training. And that was conducted in October of 2025. And that was provided by Double Hall Solutions. Attendees for that were the city manager, city commission, and all employees. Mission was, we developed the mission on it, and that was to serve every resident, business, and visitor of Mount Clemens with respect, fairness, and reliability. Providing answers, solutions, and support in a way that reflects the pride of our community. We also have a vision, a city where every person feels valued and heard, where service is consistent across all departments, and where trust is built through honest communication, timely follow-up, and genuine willingness to help. We put together the principles of BRIDGE, which is balance, respect, integrity, dedication, goodwill, and engagement. And most recently, we had employee evaluation training, which is another couple pages down the road, is one of our things that we'll talk about. That was conducted in January. It was provided by Double Hall Solutions. Attendees were city manager, department heads, and supervisors. And the training was titled Foster a Culture of Accountability. And the subcategories were the foundation of crucial accountability in the workplace, the power of continuous feedback, receiving feedback, personal and professional growth, the role of accountability in team dynamics and performance, the annual evaluation, reflecting, celebrating, and looking ahead, and preparing for effective evaluations and crucial conversations. How the principles that govern, that we've found from the DEI training that this impacts, is we started training, communication, we stopped inaction, and we continued training and developmental learning. And I'm just going to keep going to, we've just kicked off 2026 employee evaluations. The training was complete, like I said. Evaluation forms have been approved. The goal is to have employee evaluations completed by the end of February. And then going forward, it'll be at the end of January each of the following year. And how this correlates to the DEI training, we start communication, again, more communication. We stop resisting change, because we haven't done these in 20 years, 15 years. And we continue strategic planning. So I don't know if that checks some of the boxes. I did do a little benchmarking. I know one of the goals was to do some benchmarking. I didn't find an awful lot. I did find some cities had some DEI statements. I did find that Sterling Heights has a pretty active program. So, we continue to apply the principles of the DEI training that we had, and this is what we're doing going forward.
Very good. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for Kevin?
I'll just say that as you were going through things, I want to thank you for involving the commission in a lot of those events. And so we were familiar with a lot of them because we do get a chance to participate. So thank you for that. And I'm thrilled to see that you've implemented the evaluation program. I believe in, if it's done right and there's thought put into them and you really take the time to do it right, they're very valuable for all employees. And so, kudos. Great. Thank you.
Excellent.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are there any specific metric type goals that the city might be setting when it comes to hiring and promotion as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion? Any specific metric goals? Do I need a mic? Because I have the mask on to protect all of you all because I went home Tuesday with a cold. So, okay. Is this better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just asking, are we thinking about goals that actually are measurable when it comes to hiring and promotion as it relates to diversity, equity, and inclusion?
Well, I guess I would just like a little further information, like what were you thinking along those lines?
I'm just thinking that when you have a commitment and a plan in place, you usually have measurable goals that go with it.
Sure.
So that's what I'm thinking, just,
We do have a metrics section that we just haven't gotten down here to this section. I mean, we have a metrics which we said dollars in approved budget that support projects that promote equity, percentage of city officials and employees trained in DEI, and then the equal distribution of capital improvement funds. So, I mean, we don't have anything related at this time to hiring. So that could be something that we look at for our next strategic plan.
I would strongly urge that we do look at it for the next plan.
I would add that I would like to, if we do that, I would like to see how that can be rolled into a small employee base without disproportionately imbalancing things, because it's the kind of goal that, like, when we do it in the Navy, it's easy because you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of people. But when we're hiring for a department of one, I don't want us to get so far out of balance one way or the other. So we have to find a way to capture it. And I want to know if there's best practices that smaller organizations use to make sure we get after that in a way that actually gets the end result where, like, the overall, employee hiring percentages meet those goals without, like, our one Asian person quit this year. We have one job opening this year. How do we do that? Like, do you have to put the timeline out over a longer period to make sure you're meeting proper diversity goals in hiring, retention, and promotion when you're dealing with a smaller organization? I don't know if there's best practices out there for that kind of thing, but I would be curious to see if that's even being looked at.
I want to respond. I don't think we should take it so literal that, you know, if an Asian person leaves, then we have to replace that person with another Asian person. I'm talking about just a diverse scenario where optics alone allow you to see that it's diverse.
Okay.
We don't have that presently.
No, we don't.
So, okay, so that's my point.
Literally, the Navy, they literally assign recruiting goals based on race. So I'm
Right, so no,
coming from a different place.
I'm not drilling that
Okay.
deep in terms
Okay.
of literal goals, but I'm talking about, you got it now.
some
'cause
kind
we're
of
talking
metrics to
about-
capture.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Thank you.
okay.
Yep, and just because we were on the subject of DEI, the DEI training we got, that was a small portion of it, but what we got out of the training was, it was, you know, a lot more than that. And it wasn't just about race. It included, like I said, race was a portion of it, but it was very small. It was really about everybody. You can go ahead, Kevin, if you want. I know you were.
Well,
Inclusion your section,
just
but-
understanding where people are coming from, and taking the chance to understand another person's point of view, regardless of who they are or what sex they are, but taking a step back to understand what the other person's viewing. So,
Well, I never, let me just clarify something. I never wanted to give the impression that diversity is just about race. It obviously isn't, by
Sure.
definition. Diversity is as clear as a bell in terms of its definition. It means that there's all representation. And I think a lot of our mission and a lot of what we have here speaks to that. But I think we do need to have it be more of a visual and the optics reflect it. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
When it comes to hiring, I know the city of Detroit does like a scoring system with different rate. For instance, like for people who live in the city, you get a higher score.
Can you
Right.
use that? Yeah, sorry.
I don't know much about our hiring process here, and I don't know if this is the meeting to get into that, but it would be nice to just hear more about how that works and how it compares to other cities, especially other cities our size too, that maybe have incorporated some of the goals we're looking at doing, because it's just something I've thought about, but I've never thought about how implementation could work at all.
Yeah, well, it never hurts to look at what other people are doing instead of reinventing the wheel. So it'd be easy enough to reach out to other communities and see what they're doing and not doing. And then, of course, we'd run it by legal. Because just because they're doing it doesn't mean they should be or shouldn't be.
I do acknowledge that the programming that your department is doing is amazing. And I also think that these have been some good goals that have produced good results. And so I'm very happy to see this.
How many people have we hired this past year?
How do you know exactly, Kevin?
well, at one point we hired 33 election workers, but I don't put them into the mix. I got a turnover thing that we're not quite there yet, but I can talk about it right now. I can talk about it now. And it really talks about how many people have left us, so we've replaced them, right? So, and if you take out like seasonal worker, in 2024, we had one retiree and 4 people leave us, one way or the other. So we probably would have been at 5 people. Our turnover rate, you know, we've got like 76 employees, right? Our turnover rate, our voluntary turnover rate is in 2024 was 2.64. Now, again, with you got that small of numbers, it only takes a couple people to leave and you're skewed, right? Because if you look at 2025, our voluntary turnover rate was 7.8. But we did have a couple retirees that left, and we put a couple people in there, and they didn't like it. So it's kind of a statistical lie. They didn't even last 6 months, and it was mostly at least 2 of those people left on their own. And then the national, they don't have the national rates out yet for 2025, but the 2024 rates were a voluntary rate of 13%, so we're way under it, and a involuntary or a combined rate of 18%. So The first year I was here, we didn't hire a lot of people. Last year, we probably hired, because we had a lot of retirees last year too. We had 7 or 8 retirees. We had 7 people, but you gotta remember a couple of positions, like with dial-a-ride, we're hiring multiple times for it because it's a higher turnover. So maybe, I don't know, 10, 11 people. So, which is great because recruiting's terrible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It is tough to recruit for our positions. I mean, I think we pay fair, but we don't pay a lot. And,
And it's a benefit package that
yeah, it
You know.
is a package. I know that everyone
Yeah.
package.
younger people
So
don't. You know.
But people really
Yeah.
would appreciate the package, but,
there's another thing that is difficult when you have a couple of retirees and you try to put people in there, and Lenny will tell you, it's you train these, you put 6 months into them, you train them up, and then they're not here because it wasn't working out for them primarily, not us. And
right.
you know, and one of the things in here is about continuing to be an employer of choice, offering competitive compensation and benefits. It's kind of an unfair thing to put in here as a strategic plan because our benefits are great.
Amazing, actually.
Yes, and anybody, especially me, coming from private enterprise and coming here, we had a significant increase to the employee contributions this year, and I still look at people and say, it's the best insurance I've ever had at the cheapest cost for me and my family. And we have multiple tiers, right? Now, to start making changes like that gets a little bit more complicated when you got retirees and stuff. So,
There's a lot of factors.
yeah, if you're coming here and you're worried about benefits, you're coming here all day long. We still have a pension. We just interviewed a person the other day, and he's like, yeah, not many people have pensions.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Full pension and full health care for retirees and their spouses.
Yeah, and like you said, maybe our pay is medium. I haven't really researched that, but you know, the end game.
No, it is.
When you get to that, when I'm working on a guy who's retiring, they're coming out of here speaking very highly about us.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm married to one, so yeah.
Right.
It has been an amazing benefit for us because we have healthcare. I mean, that is, so many people today struggle with that. And it's good healthcare. It's not cheap,
I think it's,
very good healthcare.
yeah.
You keep talking about this, and next time we have an opening, all the commissioners are going to sign up.
Right.
We're going to start losing commissioners for what you guys get paid.
Sorry, that took me down to 2 years. Applications. Yeah. All right. Oh, go ahead.
I just had one last question.
Yeah.
In the employees who voluntarily left, in those exit interviews, you might have covered it, is the issue mostly just, is it just money? Is it the training? Or I don't know if you can speak to that or not. But
I mean, I don't
is
really
there a
want
trend?
to talk too much about personnel issues
Yeah, I
here,
understand.
but I will say that I do an exit interview for everybody. I can think of a couple. One, an individual was surprised at the fact that when you get into a pension that you have money coming out for it. And that surprised them a little bit. And then I had another person who was going to school full time, and it kind of interfered. And so when, you know, they're on the tail end of their education and they were here for like 5 or 6 months, and like, you know what, I'm gonna wrap this up, my education, and go full time, get that done. I've had a couple people that I can only think of a couple people who really left us and weren't happy. It's 1 or 2. I've had it in 2024. where we only had like 5 people do this all together, or 4 maybe. The one person thought the grass was greener somewhere else, went to another municipality. But you know, when you're dealing with numbers like I'm dealing with, I had 7 people leaving last year, non-retiree terms. It's just not a lot.
Right.
Yeah. And like I said, when you're doing the turnover rate, sound like, wow, it jumped like double. Well, it's only 2 people. I mean, it's a statistical lot. Yeah, and the circumstances. If you knew the circumstances, I'm comfortable with the circumstances. People just don't leave. They don't leave a lot, and that I can only think of one person who was truly just wasn't happy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I just wanted to see if there was a trend, but it sounds like.
Yeah. The trend is I had 6 people retire last year, a couple retired the year before that. Most people go out the door like that. Yeah. So, and I got, I know last year was a big year for retirees. So, and I know they're lining up. I got a couple people lining up for this year too. So, if you looked at our workforce at one point, there was, I think Greg and I looked at it, there was 25% of our workforce was eligible to retire. And that's losing a lot of knowledge. But we only have, as it stands now, we're in the process of hiring 1 person, and we've got, Lenny's got a position open that we're in the tail end of. And so there's only like 2 positions that are open. So we've never had more than a couple positions open at any given point. So.
Thanks.
All right, are we ready to move to objective number 2 on page 7? Kevin, I don't know. I don't think Kevin didn't include this stuff, right? So we're gonna move to objective 2, promote and maintain fiscal sustainability. And we're gonna hand it over to Greg, which is ensure the long-term viability of defined benefit retirement and other post-employment benefits, or OPEB systems, through collaboration with the Mount Clemens Retirement Board.
I got 2 retirement board folks here, so if I screw this up, no, I won't screw it up.
We'll tell you.
So the pension system right now is 96% funded. And so to kind of give you some stats on where that puts us, you know, state-wise, out of 171 pension systems that have reported so far in 2025 under Public Act 202, that data set in Michigan, only 7 of them are funded between 95 and 100%, and Mount Clemens is one of those. So in 2024, Mount Clemens was in the top 10 percentage in Michigan out of 870 that reported. I believe we were only about 91 point something % funded then, so we're better now than we were then.
It was a good year.
It was a good year.
All right, so number 2 is utilize responsible investment practices to improve fiscal sustainability. I'm gonna hand that one to you too, Greg.
Right, so the city utilizes a diverse long and short-term investment strategy, which has been instrumental in our ability to take on a lot of these capital projects. I mean, we did a local street here for the first time since anybody can remember. I mean, we had people that had been here 25 years. We couldn't remember actually going in and, you know, doing a reconstruct on a local street. So we've been very fortunate that we've started investing our money, number one, and that we've done it in such a good strategy that, you know, it's diverse enough, and then it's spread out between long and short term to where no matter what happens with the economy, we shouldn't feel that big dip. You know, we should kind of be able to flatline through it. So happy about that.
Seek and apply for outside funding like grants, philanthropic support, state and federal funding to support the city's strategic, operational, and community priorities.
All right, so the city's been very successful in applying for grants through federal allocations, state allocations, SEMCOG, FEMA, EAGLE, CDBG, and MEDC. We've been successful with the RAP grant. We tried for other ones like RAP 2.0. We tried the consumers community grant, you know, and some different ones that we weren't successful, but pretty much anything that comes along that's got any viable possibility that we would be able to get something out of that, we apply for it.
Can I ask a question? Did we hear about the Crocker Bridge one?
Nope, not yet. Not for this next round.
I also had a question. Do you know if the period for the recycling grant from Eagle, if that's opened up yet?
I don't know, because I turned it over to Jeff, and he was working a little bit with AEW, and they were gonna try to apply for something.
That's awesome.
So it's in his court, but I haven't heard anything. So Jeff isn't here, he's on vacation, but I'm sure that he's viewing in from the Keys right now.
Yeah.
Not.
If he is, he needs to stop and enjoy his vacation.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right. Let's see. Number 4, continue 5-year budget projections.
All right, so we do that. The 5-year budget projection is updated annually. And we also have a 10-year water and sewer rate projection that is updated annually as well.
And continue capital improvement planning updates.
So the capital improvement plan is updated annually, and it is plugged into the 5-year projection and the 10-year water and sewer rate models.
And obviously the metrics of those were the general fund balance, the bond rating, percentage of actuarial, computed employer contribution, which we just received that report, the annual audit, and the number of grants applied for. So that's where all that info came from. So go ahead from that section.
Going back to the grants. Can you just very briefly, go through the grant process? I know most departments, well, from what I think I know, most departments will write grants, or you will write grants.
Yes.
Is there a grant writer that we contract with, or have we
Yeah,
considered?
Linda Davis Kirksey. So we share her services with the DDA.
Anybody else?
For metrics, would you consider, instead of number of grants applied for, number and dollar value of grants applied for?
Okay.
Are you interested in knowing how much was brought in from grants on an annual basis? That's how I have to
It's always a
report.
fun number to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, has been.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go down here.
Yeah.
The number of grants are declining rapidly, so.
Yeah.
Also, when we talk about fiscal sustainability, and this might go in with general fund balance, or it might fall somewhere else on here, but with the debt, like with the City Hall project, do you feel that would fall as a metric for maybe just educating the public on city finances? I think the pie chart that was put out was very good, so people could see.
In your taxes, yeah.
Yeah, but I think there's still confusion, and there's a lot of information swirling related to, I think, our finances. I think when it comes to our tax base, there's still, I think it's out there what our tax base is, but just how that looks for us. So
Right.
maybe if education could be added to
Okay.
this.
As a strategy then, right?
Sorry,
As a strategy. Yeah.
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. Educating the public.
Yeah.
I like that.
Also, I just want to say it's bonkers that we weren't investing our general fund dollars before. Thank you for doing that.
I know.
Thank you for going through the legal confirmation that we can, and
Yeah, we're investing every dollar, even in checking now. So,
That's great.
I mean, that's that. I remember I don't know, a few months ago, I think State of the City, you had mentioned how much we had earned on that. I don't remember the number, but
yeah, I mean, it bounces around each month, but if you just, about $100,000 a month is a fair number. It's probably a little higher than that, but
yeah, that's kind of a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah. That we weren't getting all those years.
I mean,
Finance 101.
Right.
I will say that years ago, that you might have only got 0.25% or something on your investments, and so it's gotten better. But yeah, it was better for a while before we took advantage of it, for sure.
All right, everybody good to move? All right, so objective number 3, maintain a high quality workforce. Strategy number 1, develop a workplace culture based on city values and the principles set forth in DEI training. I'm assuming this one was for Kevin, and you've kind of hit all these, right? Is this whole section, Kevin?
I think I covered pretty much all
I think you did too. So does anybody have any questions about the maintain a high quality workforce objective?
I think strategies and metrics that we talked about during Kevin's first report, we might want to add here in terms of exploring.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's even something that has to be added here, if that's maybe even more of just a directive to look into it, but I think this focuses on maintaining our workforce and maybe adding a little bit more about hiring.
I was gonna say, we don't have a strategy really directed at hiring, so maybe, explore strategies of hiring practices, or I don't know, explore.
I mean, I think it could be added to this. It's a very good section, I believe.
Yeah, I would believe this is where it would fit.
Yeah, I got a note there. I think it's better there.
Okay.
And maybe to Kevin's point, I mean, the annual turnover rate really isn't meaningful
Right.
because we have such a small workforce. So maybe it has to be, I'm not even sure maybe it's just the number, or is it a meaningful, has it been an issue?
I wondered if there was a way we could do, it says annual employee survey, but what if it was an annual employee satisfaction survey?
Okay, so that's the difference. So that's number 2.
Right, but I mean, and maybe that's more meaningful to us than the turnover rate.
I agree. I don't know. What do you think, Kevin? I mean, do you say, is that really a meaningful metric for us to, we kind of glossed right over it and said it wasn't.
I mean,
The turnover rate, you mean? Not isn't?
I mean, if we were turning over,
Yeah.
if we were turning over 15% of our workforce, and we had like people
We would need
flying
a
out the door,
percentage to know we got an issue. Right?
we know we have an issue.
Well, even without a high turnover, a survey that would give people a chance to comment on culture or sense of belonging or
Yeah.
anything like that. I know we just reviewed ours at work. I mean, it does give meaningful data, like, and an opportunity to improve or make changes. So it might be something that you would feel would give you some information.
I will also say that when you do your employee evaluations, if they're done well and they're given a lot of thought to it and what in the discussion, I don't know how much is check the box, which I hate, or written out. You can get a lot of that information too. You know, you should find out how they're feeling about things and how they're.
There's a section in there for it. So the way this is going to work is they actually get the evaluation form first, and they have a little more than, actually they fill out a little more than half of it themselves. And that's part of it is we want to hear the types of things you're talking about that could be in a survey, right? It's an opportunity for them, and we stress that this is not for disciplinary purposes.
Right.
You know, so.
With that being said, though, I do see some value in at least maybe annual, biannual, whatever, since our retention rate's so high. An anonymous organizational effectiveness survey. I know with my time, I have seen great recommendations come through those sometimes, or some real doozies of some red flags come through those, but don't think that's what we're going to deal with so much as just
Never know.
a way to get positive feedback and recommendations and whatnot.
And we're going to do one. I'm looking at a software right now that I think we can jump on a license actually through Double Hall. Is that called Castus, Kevin? So April's looking into if we can utilize that, because she said they utilize it in Oakland County and it's great. So we're going to do one. It's just a matter of how we implement it.
Got it.
I know that there's some consideration of maybe removing turnover rate as a metric, but I will say it was interesting to hear what people were thinking as they were leaving. I think sometimes if it's on negative terms, it might be skewed, but it's not the vast majority of them. But I do feel like turnover is something that was helpful to hear. With, if there are a lot more people leaving and the grass is greener somewhere else, then it might be time to actually
I think
consider.
when we say turnover rate, it should be why.
Right.
Maybe
wasn't
it's
it?
X.
Why did they leave, right?
Maybe it's
Why was
exit
there
survey
turnover?
results or something. I mean, we
Well, that
can't
one's
use-
tough because there's so few
I do
people.
them for everybody,
Right.
and there could be, the problem you're gonna find is when you only have 4 or 5 people leaving, you're gonna know who that person is that said that stuff. And that's fine, I mean, but, I do like to keep a certain level of confidentiality to it.
I don't mean like,
Yeah, well, because it's in here
Yeah.
though, we just mean that you're tracking it, right?
Yeah, I'm
Because
tracking
and it's confidential,
Yeah.
right? We don't want to,
Yeah.
because like you said,
When I was to do the turnover rate, it literally takes me minutes. I look at who,
Easy metric.
yeah, it's to do this,
Especially with
to
7
do this part of it, I did in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And I got, I mean,
yeah,
when you're looking
It's
at
just not gonna tell us much, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it
the hiring part would be more
take 5
interesting
minutes.
because when you're looking at still, I think I said a little too high, 25%, but like 15 to 20% turnover on your retirees, that would be an interesting thing.
That is a good metric,
Right.
not just necessarily maybe,
In a couple, and I mean, there's going to be a lot of people retiring in the next couple of years. That's what I'm trying to get to.
There's
So
a term
maybe,
called
yeah.
stay interview, so that people are responding to the things that make them want to stay. And so you're getting some good input that you can build on. If you don't have people leaving, maybe in mid-year you do a stay interview where people fill out anonymous, or you meet with them, it's not anonymous, but it can give you some good data too.
It varies department to department probably, but with so many people and with so much institutional knowledge leaving, are there different ways that could be considered to kind of maintain? I mean, some of that's just on the job. You'll only, this is how we do it, right? But are there ways to capture, some of that in a way that would be helpful? More
yeah,
so than
we can have an exit plan when there's people coming behind. Kevin's in a job by himself, right? So that's a tough,
There's nobody
that's a
to
tough
mentor
exit
before
plan,
you
right?
leave.
And so what we've had that, and so what Kevin's doing, and so we actually had this down in purchasing. And so what we had, her name was Terry, what she did is she actually went through and created a complete binder book with everything you could possibly think of, to the point where, because we were without a purchasing agent for a while, where you could go down and you actually go into this book and you could figure it out. Mm-hmm. It was really handy. So that's what we're focusing on in these departments where there isn't that next person that can just come along and slide into the spot.
That's great. So it's a practice that's already been done here. That's
Yes.
all right, moving on. All right, now we're going to move to the economic prosperity and affordability on page 9, ensuring opportunities to residents, employees, and businesses for financial growth and security. So, Kevin, you're off the hook now. We're moving on to Brian. So, objective number 1 is prepare a new community master plan that establishes a vision that reflects the community's values and priorities. And the first strategy would be complete the city's master plan with guidance from a third-party consultant. And that one is for Brian.
So really, the 3 strategies are all kind of related in terms of just adoption of a new master plan. So I have started work on drafting a request for proposals for the preparation of a new master plan. We would be hiring a consultant for that project. So just in terms of background, the current master plan was adopted in 2010. There was an update adopted in 2016. So we're even 10 years past that last update. This new kind of comprehensive citywide master plan would replace all of that. So my goal right now is to have that RFP out in the second quarter of this calendar year. Some of that might depend on some funding sources that I've identified and when I can apply for those. But I'm probably looking at a budget for a citywide comprehensive plan of around $100,000 to $150,000 for a master plan. So again, that's in the works, and hopefully we'll be hearing more about that this year.
What, in terms of the state's mandates of master plans, I mean, I know, like, is there still legislation that says, you know, you have to have one, and what is the timeframes, and,
Right.
you know, what is that all?
Obviously, we need to have one. Their only requirement for having a new one, they don't require you to have a new one. They require you to review it on every 5 years. And we have been doing that at the planning commission level. They review it and then determine whether or not they want to do an update. Do they want to adopt a brand new master plan? Do they want to leave it as is? So.
And is the planning commission wanting to do a new one?
Yes, they are on board, definitely.
Brian, with regard to strategy number 2, I'm wondering if we could be a little bit more illustrative there or specific. And I just took a few notes. Engage the community in the planning process through focus groups, surveys, and solicited feedback to set goals for the community's current and future needs. I just think we need to give people an idea as to how are you going to engage me?
Sure, absolutely. And
Okay.
As part of that RFP, we would build into that, you know, asking the consultant, how are you going to do the public participation component? Because obviously that's a huge component of a master planning process. So we'll definitely build that in and be able to hear from the consultants how they're going to do that.
And the commission will have the opportunity to interview. Will we do? I mean, how are we going to interview the candidates like we are with the other things
Yeah,
that
I mean,
we're doing
that's
this year?
Yeah, I mean, we can.
It's up to you guys.
It's up to
really.
how, however we want to do that. And we did the update in 2015, 2016. There was a steering committee made up of, I think it was a couple of planning commissioners, a couple of city commissioners at the time. I mean, so we could do something like that again. And they were the ones that did the interviews of the consultants. So we can really handle that however we want.
No one from the city commission was around at that point. I mean, we have some legacy, but not.
I don't remember who it was.
I do remember when you did
I
it.
think it was.
Yeah, 2015
I think
though.
Commissioner
Yeah,
Menser was on that steering committee at the time. I don't know who the other.
Raker.
No.
Okay.
No, but
So, yeah.
but we can handle that however we choose to do
Okay.
that.
Perfect. Excellent. All right. Objective number 2, support development and placemaking efforts desirable to making Mount Clemens a place to live, work, and visit. Strategy number 1, collaborate with the DDA, business, and community partners to use activities as well as events to promote Mount Clemens for economic development and tourist attraction opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of do this on a regular basis. You know, Mickey can speak to this as well, but we're constantly working with kind of third-party vendors, if you will, or service organizations on several of the events that we do downtown, trying to, you know, attract tourists, trying to, you know, drive businesses and foot traffic to our businesses downtown. So that's really kind of an ongoing thing that we do. You know, I serve as the executive director of the DDA, so there's synergy between the DDA and the city, which there hasn't always been that over the years. So that's in place and it works well currently. But again, that's kind of an ongoing thing that we do on a day-to-day basis.
With the metrics, I remember, for number 1, the software they use to track people, the number of people at events is awesome.
Yeah, I was going to speak to that. But yeah, we do have a partnership with Macomb County. We do pay them, and they provide additional economic development services to the city and DDA above and beyond what they provide their base level of service to all 27 communities. And again, that partnership is paid for half by the city, half by the DDA, and that gives us free access to Placer AI data, which I'm sure you've heard of, and we help to track you know, foot traffic downtown. We can set parameters for days and times. So that's been really helpful in showing businesses and other stakeholders just kind of what those foot traffic levels are, how many people are attending events. And again, it's tracked off of cell phones. So.
Maybe you can speak to how we're trying to kind of smooth out for the farmers market by using Placer AI
Yeah, that's one of the things we've done in our conversations with them is using that data to show them, how many people are going to be downtown, how many are at the existing market, just to give people some data for when they're making decisions about where they want to locate.
So using that data, did you see any, if I remember correctly, from some things Mickey had, this year was obviously a difficult year because of the construction. Did you see a lot of difference in the data?
Foot traffic. I mean, if you can, go ahead, Mickי.
Come to the mic so that it gets on you. Please. I don't mean to be bossy.
I work with Dave. One Friday or one Wednesday a month, we update our thinkmtc.com. But the data that we got, as an example, Made in Michigan, I had to cut down the size in half. I had to move it down the street. Nervous. I was very nervous about that, not just because we moved them down the street, but the impact on our businesses downtown. That weekend, we drew 19,700 people in 2 days in our downtown. And we also drew those people down to visit their stores and restaurants that they love downtown. So what started out on Saturday morning, not having any great expectation of people being happy, they were very happy. Many of them sold out, needed to leave early in order to make more for the next day. So that's really been helpful, the hours that people are coming to town. I can help businesses who are choosing hours that don't really fit our pedestrian traffic. It's important to know these things because
Drop a lot from the year before.
less than 1% with the construction.
And that was overall for
For the
season,
entire-
for the,
yeah.
the
From March
construction
till
season.
September 30th, I had
The
them
year
do
before.
that. And we did it for 23, 24, 25. They can go back as far as we want. It's very helpful.
Thank you.
Anybody have any?
Well, I could say Mickey mentioned the thinkmtc.com website that the county created for us and that we update on a regular basis. And I'll talk more about that next month when we have our work session on economic development. But again, that comes through that partnership with the county that we have, and we utilize that a lot for demographics and data when there are people that are interested in coming or bringing a business to the city. And then we also have a spot on there that shows available real estate for sale or lease that we update on a monthly basis. I'll go through that when we have our work session next month. Yeah, the DDA does have a strategic plan. We review that on a regular basis, update that on a regular basis, and we do, as far as aligning with the city commission, we do as well as we can. Obviously, we have a little bit different missions, but we do follow the same framework.
And it's going to be updated next.
We'll be reviewing it next month in February.
Where do you use the GIS data? Is that the?
The Think MTC
Oh, that's the
website,
Think
it's a
MTC.
GIS-based
Okay.
website.
Got it.
Yeah.
The website so people can see for themselves.
Think MTC? Oh, yeah.
Just like dash or in parentheses right after it.
And there's probably a strategy that involves that. So
I think we might want to put it as a separate metric because the GIS data is like the placer AI data, and then right? And then
I thought
4
that was-
would be,
I would probably just rephrase for as, continue to utilize and update thinkmtc.com, something along those
Okay.
lines.
okay.
So on 1 and 2, what's the difference?
I guess number, oh wait. On strategy or metrics?
Sorry.
Oh, they're actually,
Metrics?
Yeah.
Oh, they're very different.
yeah, I think they're the same thing.
Number 1 on metrics, number of attendees.
At city permitted activities and events. 2, number of attendees at city permitted events and.
Oh, I
activation.
have something different.
I do too.
Oh, I only have number of attendees at city permitted activities and events, and then 2 is DDA strategic plan.
Oh, see,
Oh, that's
I wonder if
weird.
that was added in by,
I think that was changed then from,
Cost you $5.
Huh, maybe I have a cleaner copy or
Yes.
something?
No.
or they just Punch Freeman added this in extra by mistake, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
when they prepared this.
Because I only have three on three metrics.
Okay.
Does everybody else have?
I only have 3.
I only have four.
Oh,
I have my old one.
we're literally not on the same page.
I have the one that I use.
Checking to see who was really reading.
No kidding. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm glad I wasn't just like
I'm not
crazy.
crazy.
I'm like, those are the same things.
It's funny because it's out there. Didn't even notice that.
Okay, well,
I broke it.
that's good. Okay, so we're good now? Okay.
I have
Yeah.
a specific question, but it could be like a general question. So
Okay.
maybe by design, these strategies read to me to be very fluff or very non-specific. And so when it comes to measuring how we did, like encourage DDA to continue aligning their strategic plan to the goals and objectives of the city. So, I mean, is that having one conversation? Is that seeing whether they continue to align, so they're already aligning? Do we want them to increase it and align with 2 more? It's just, each of them read just a little general, like complete the master plan. Is there a timeline or a certain day? Something to make it a little more specific. But maybe for this purpose, we kept things general. I'm not sure with that conversation.
The more specific, I mean, on a metric, it's easier to.
Yeah, but then when I look at the metrics and I go back to the strategies to see how you're going to use that metric to measure the strategy, I'm not. I think some of it could be tightened up.
Yeah.
I think that's the question to ask. Like, are the metrics going to tell you whether the strategy worked?
Sure.
So,
I thought at the last time we did this, it was well, I do agree with your point. The goal was that they were a little bit vague, maybe isn't the right word, but just because there was so much flexibility within some of the points. Because I can think of like 5 items that would be great to have as metrics that I'd like to see done, but I don't think there should be a whole shopping list under this point. So I think there is a middle ground in between,
Being
You
too
know.
definitive.
yeah.
some of them might lend themselves to being a little tightened up, and other ones, you think there's value in keeping them a little general.
But maybe on some of these points, there are some specific like action items.
Well,
With-
like when you were mentioning DDA, I think we have to be careful about too, like, while the DDA is an entity under the city, it really isn't, right? It has a governing board. It is, I mean, we don't we don't tell them what they do, right? In other words,
Right.
so we kind of, we can suggest or encourage, but we don't,
But when you're executive director of the DDA is also a city employee.
yeah, totally,
You know.
totally, right. But he answers to in that respect, he answers to the
Just
DDA
one,
board, right?
A metric could be, DDA actions that align with the city strategic plan. I don't know, I have to think about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we did, so the metrics are new. This was new to the last plan, so they might need shoring up because it was new to all of us. It's something we added.
Yeah.
And then we did have some discussion because when we were formulating a new plan, we started getting all these strategies and we were getting, 10, 15, 20. And I think we did try to compress them
Yes.
into
We did.
a smaller set,
Yeah.
but
Because
hey, that's what we're here for, right? Like we can,
this is a much more robust plan than we ever had, right? Because last time, didn't we have like 6, we kept it to like 6 or 7 overarching goals and then,
The pendulum has swung,
Right.
from-
right?
But
and
it
some
would
are
make
just
sense,
recurring,
and
right?
number
They recur every year.
You like number 2, the second strategy, create partnership opportunities to enhance and promote activation of public spaces. So what partnership did we create? I mean, that would be a
Hard to
specific,
measure,
yeah. What are they?
I looked at it as, because you're activating public spaces, I looked at it as like, how much sponsorships did you get through the DDA in order to put on events, right? I mean, that's how I looked at it. Or like, what events did you bring to our public spaces in order to bring people to the city, right? That was how I read it, but I think it is very vague, right? You could definitely look at that in different ways.
And if the metric is the DDA strategic plan, what does that really mean? Like, if they have a strategic plan, then the metric says we met it. I mean, like what? I think what we're saying is we're going to look to the strategic plan to see if these strategies
Are aligned.
But
Well, they didn't have one before either, right? And so that's, I guess, we say the DDA is separate, but yet we're trying to
No, right.
push them all together here. And-
I don't mean
But
that
I
they're
think
separate.
that we work so closely that it almost has to be aligned.
Oh, I
We're
agree.
gonna
I
be
totally
successful.
encourage that. I'm just saying. I think we.
I mean, as an example of the DDA following the vision of this strategic plan, is the DDA board did adopt a DEI statement in 2024, I believe. So there are things like that we could look at and measure and pull out and say, the DDA did do this and it aligns with the strategic plan of the city. So that might be a metric that we can, try to utilize.
That's a good example, that there's specific things that
There is creating synergy.
Right.
All right. Anybody else? So we're gonna tighten that up. It sounds like Brian's gonna do
Yeah, I
some.
know I can help. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as was highlighted, like the DDA is and yet is not part of the city, but also economic prosperity and affordability is not just the DDA.
For sure.
So how do we expand this to capture the non-DDA aspects of that? Because I
Very good
believe
point.
that is
Yeah.
kind of important.
Well, it's
Very
objective
good.
one, and
because the DDA is
Objective
downtown,
three.
but there's
this is the only one that's DDA specific.
besides residents, there's businesses outside the DDA and
That's right.
That's just
business areas.
one of the three objectives. Downtown is just one of the three objectives, though, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like for the entire, I mean, I do feel
The
like
master
this.
plan, yeah.
I do feel like economic prosperity for this. Well, some of these points we could clean up a little bit. All of these objectives should in theory cover the whole city.
Yeah, for
Right.
sure. Yeah. But I would think that, maybe that's something
Maybe, what's the right word? Partnership, collaboration, I'm trying to think of the word, with the DDA is one thing, but then there's others that aren't necessarily DDA.
So another
We're so
objective.
intertwined here.
So you're saying, and obviously objective one is going to, next year, if in 26, then we're gonna be done with it, right? So we will need a new objective at that point, right? Completely new objective if we've already completed the new master plan.
Yeah, it's just when I look at the strategies and metrics, the overwhelming majority are DDA focused.
Yeah,
And there's more to the city than just the DDA.
I agree.
And
So do
we
we
need to
create
figure
another
out-
one?
That's what I'm
No,
saying,
I
if the
think-
DDA can be one or two, and then there's one or two that apply to,
So I guess what I'm asking is that a separate objective, or is it just a strategy under an
I
objective?
think it's just adjusting the strategy to reflect the DDA and citywide.
Yeah. Yeah,
I should have.
understandable.
if you're gonna try to write it.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so I think that Brian understands the objective or task. We'll
Call it
say
an objective,
task.
Because objectives are another thing.
Yeah. We'll use a different word. All right, does anyone, I feel like, let's do I feel like everybody needs a minute, like a little 5-minute break, maybe?
yeah, cheesecake break.
A cheesecake break, a bathroom break, a whatever
Already
break,
cheesecake.
however you wanna make it. All right, but let's try to hold it to like 5, I'll give you 7. Let's hold it to 7 minutes. All right, let's move back to objective 3, economic development is an all-hands initiative to bolster Mount Clemens' uptown vision, recognizing the impacts all goals have on economic development. So strategy 1, study the potential impact economic, housing demands, infrastructure needs, parking, et cetera, on the increased population downtown. Brian.
So this is definitely something that's going to be done as part, in conjunction with the master plan. When we did the master plan update in 2016, one of the things we did was actually adopt a specific downtown plan. So when we do the RFP for the master plan, we're going to make sure we include that as another component, so that we'll have a comprehensive downtown plan that will obviously address all these issues, especially in light of the infrastructure improvements that have been made and will be made, private development, and how all that's going to play out and come together. So.
Continue low-cost evaluation and visioning efforts relating to city's riverfront property.
Yeah, so obviously the riverfront revitalization project will allow the riverfront to be developed to meet the vision of the city commission. So I see a lot of work sessions coming in the not so distant future to see what that vision is going to be.
Thank you. I would really like to see that one be a little clearer. I mean, number one, it's very, very direct and to the point, but number two, I think you need a few more verbs there or something. I mean, you just said revitalization, I would say redevelopment. Low-cost evaluation and visioning efforts. I was trying to figure out, is that a planning term that I don't know? What are visioning efforts? And you just said the vision of, implementing the vision of the commission. Mm-hmm. Now that makes more sense to me. It's more specific.
But I will also say it's got to be more than that, because when we look at the vision for the riverfront, while we get to vote on it maybe and decide, we're going to do more than just talk about it, right?
Sure, yeah, I mean, when I say that, you represent the public, right? So it's the public's vision through you. It's your vision as the public's vision.
So
right?
we're the catalysts that bring the public's vision back to the table. Mm-hmm. But I do like, to Laura's point, to be more expansive there and actually be inclusive.
In my mind, that number two was, what we were looking at last year, right? Because we were just looking at where and in January of last year, we had no idea if we were even going to be able to buy the OU property at that point, right? It was not a done deal yet, not even close. So I mean, honestly, I think this is just reflective of being in a very infant
where
stage.
You were.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. So I think you're right, both of you, that, we want to make sure that we define that we are going to include the public. We are going to include the entire city commission. It's a very much a group effort. So yeah, I think that has to be much more defined.
Also, when looking at strategy number two, mm-hmm. I think it's more than just, well, I know the riverfront property is a very specific task that's extremely large on its own.
Right.
But I think it also involves, well, I guess this is really a question. Does that also involve the other side of the river and, going up the river into the neighborhood? Is that all together into one point for strategy number two?
I mean, I think, again, in my mind, I feel like that's part of where the city commission has to come in and go, okay, how are we going to define that, right? In terms of what are we going to take on? Mm-hmm. Both sides of the river are very different, right? And are they going to be part of the same project? Are they going to be different projects? Those are all questions that I think will be needing, you're right, definition. Does that mean we define it in the strategic plan, or do we say we're going to
maybe that's a metric then.
Yeah,
sounds
right.
Exactly.
Like it's yeah.
What if we headed to strategy one on the increased population downtown and the riverfront redevelopment?
Yeah.
That way we're kind of listing out all those specific things we want to capture. And there may be other things that we put in there that are unique to the riverfront redevelopment that maybe aren't so much the increased population downtown, other than economic, housing demands, There may be something else to put into those parentheses to capture as well. But
yeah, so the current downtown plan that's in the master plan does factor in this city hall property. So it's already kind of that way that you're describing.
Yeah.
One other thing for the title of this objective, when we say uptown vision, is that still kind of a leftover term from before?
Yeah, I think so. Because when we were at one point,
I
you know,
tried to use it.
I mean, well, we were trying to revive that because there was such a school of, oh, it is uptown, but then when we use it, people are like,
What's that?
yeah,
where's
they act
that?
as though we're using some sort of new term. So I kind of do feel
Growing up, always.
it was right, but then now, but
I used to
then
get corrected all the time.
yeah,
by
but
not saying
now
uptown.
when we try to use it, people are like, that was
That's why we did Uptown Friday night.
right, yeah,
Friday.
right. But now I don't know, people kind of act like
Since we
we're
named the laundry uptown that way, and this is downtown.
yeah. I don't know.
I think,
Where else do we?
Yes, it feels leftover.
yeah, and it just, when you're looking at this and you're not, if you're just looking at this on paper, it's not super clear until you really get into it that this is just downtown.
Yeah, right.
It was a specific thing too before. This one's kind of a
Yeah, I agree.
Did we talk about strategy 3 yet?
I don't think so. Well, let's let Brian first, right? Communicate to the public, residents, and business owners about the. Oh wait,
I got that
that's
one.
you.
Yeah. Yep.
Go ahead.
So the city uses all forms of communication, including social media, city website, Clementine, public hearings, business owner meetings, DDA meetings, public meetings, media interviews, community surveys, to communicate our projects and our successes. We're hoping that the new website design will allow a more user-friendly experience for those visiting the site as well. So we've got pretty good feedback from it so far.
Yeah, I definitely like all those improvements. And to me, those ways of using sound like tactics. Those are the things that'll get you. It's not. Is the strategy really to improve communication? Is the strategy about improving communication? And are all those opportunities, those are sort of tactics that we use to do that?
Yeah, sure. I think you could call it a tactic, right? A tool, a mechanism.
So
I think that there were, if I'm understanding your question correctly, I think that there were different instances when we were trying to achieve different things, right? There's times when we're just trying to inform the public. For example, there's a water main break, right? There's a water main break. We use social media, right? We're not really trying to have a conversation, but it is a tool that we're using to communicate. So I mean, there's definitely different instances and different goals. So, the biweekly business meetings that we did to make sure that every business had the opportunity to come and understand how the project was progressing, that was definitely a way to try to have conversation, right, and hear concerns and things. I mean, so I think it was different for different things.
yeah, I think I was just trying to understand whether the strategy was really about improving communication or creating opportunities to collaborate. The way it's written made me feel like it was focused a little more on the tactics of all the ways we can do that. But is the goal really about bi-directional communication or improving communication or something?
I'm going to put Eric on the spot, but I think this was Eric's, because historically we hadn't necessarily done the best job of communicating our successes, right?
Yeah.
And letting the people know, hey, look at where your money's going, look at the things we're doing,
But I think to your point, the strategy should have been something like increasing communication and communication methods or something like that, instead of rattling off specific communication channels.
Those are the,
And that's on me.
those are the
Well,
ways that we
there's an easy fix here. I mean, I don't think this is exactly what you guys are talking about because you're talking more about the tactics, but I keep looking at the fact that we're talking about the successes. We want to notify the public of our successes, but we also want to impart essential information to the public. So those two, I think, need to be together. We need to compound that sentence and say we're going to celebrate our successes by notifying the public using, oh, I'm sorry, blah, 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 blah. Let's see, where are we? We're going to, celebrate, no, where am I? Communicate to the public, residents, and business owners about the current events and projects happening within the city, celebrate our successes, and impart essential information, because we say in that first sentence that it's not just about current events, it's about projects. So we need to go ahead and explain that that's about essential information. I think that's
Yeah,
kind of,
that helps kind of
okay.
tighten that up and focus it more into a strategy vice a tactic. Yeah.
Yeah, and also to Mayor Laura's point, it also lets people know that we're going to be alerting you when there are emergencies and situations that you need to pay attention to. So it's not just about us tooting our own horn.
Right, and I think it's that we use the tools differently when we're trying to do that, right? Yeah.
But I did leave one out because we do have the text alert system that we do use for higher priority, more emergency type things, right?
Also Clementines.
He did mention that though, but it's not here, but.
Yeah.
What was that?
Clementine,
Oh, Clemens.
or internal, internal publications. Yeah.
Yep. All right, everybody good with that? All right.
Before we move on to metrics, are we going to cover metrics or are we moving
Oh,
on?
we didn't, sorry, yeah. Sorry. Commission Park and Study, apply for grants, social media analytics. I mean, obviously we'll have to change the metrics for Commission Park and Study because we already did that, right?
Yeah.
So,
I just wanted to add that for point 3, I guess in whatever format it ends, in social media analytics is one of the metrics, but I do wonder because we've gotten great feedback on Clementines and our other means of informing the public. And so maybe we could kind of acknowledge that those analytics as well, if there's a survey that goes out about how we're informing the public. Seems like some people still just love the paper, and some people love digital.
so like a public survey about
How the
how they-
city's informing.
how they like
The
to be
community.
informed.
Put it in the Clementine.
There you go. Yeah.
Well, even better, and somewhere in here, I don't think we got there yet, because we have the community survey that we want to do. And so what I really would like is input from the commission and from your constituents on like, what kind of questions would you like to see in there? Right?
Not right now, though.
Not right now. Email them to me. No. Obviously we have department heads are, submitting specific to their department, but I'd like some more feedback on that.
Yeah, I appreciate you giving us an opportunity to think about it. It'd be great. I'd like
Yeah.
to think about what to add.
I do wonder if small surveys on specific topics could be more effective than a large, if it's got 30 questions, I think I'll do
Yeah.
it later and then I never
Yeah.
go back.
So we're working actually with Dave again from the county on one that will also have analytics with it. That's what's nice. But you can really get into the weeds with this, especially with Dave, but he's also good. I mean, Dave will blow your mind away, but he's also good about, he can probably give us some pretty good feedback because the county does community surveys, right? They've done a couple. And so he might be able to help us with how to break that out. And he'll know from the analytics, we'd already discussed it, what type of survey gets the most responses. So, and then we'll be able to break it down by everything, right? By gender, by race, by everything. And then we know what our audience is and we know who we're targeting and we know who we're not targeting. And then he's got ways to try to target the audience that we're not getting, so. But it's involved, so.
Might be 30 questions.
Elaine and I went, we were there for about 2 hours and I went, okay, we'll be back, right?
Did we apply for planning grants?
Well, we have, I mean, we did get a SEMCOG planning grant for the downtown sidewalk infrastructure that we just had the presentation on. And there was this Safe Streets for All grant, the federal grant that we applied for and got that, looking at pedestrian safety in the downtown. So those are just a few examples of.
Maybe we can look for a
Did we
grant
get
that
one
will pay for a $150,000 consultant.
A master plan grant?
Yeah. That's,
All right, moving on. Good. Objective number 4, building bridges, enhancing engagement and collaboration throughout Macomb County. Strategy 1, continue to build relational connections throughout the community, county, and region through strategic and multifaceted communication and engagement efforts. Continue to collaborate and build various outside networks. You?
Yeah, that one is me. And so I actually felt like the strategy and the metric were the same. So, we partnered with the high school on the cable agreement. We partnered with the Macomb Cultural and Economic Partnership for all the sculptures you see around town. We have partnered with the library for the Clementine. The Anton Art Center is a partnership with the city. We did the Rain Barrel program where we partnered with Candace's office. Along with that, we partnered with them to get the Griner drain cleaned out. We partner with Macomb County for purchases. We do a lot of co-op purchases with them for your basic items like batteries and paper and things like that. We have mutual aid agreements with the surrounding fire departments. We have representation at SEMCOG as well as MML.
I think this one's going pretty good.
Also, the school district will probably be reaching out regarding the Clementine as well. So
Okay.
hopefully in the next, whenever Julian manages to remember it. But
Okay.
it was his idea, he mentioned it, so.
Maybe
Yeah,
we'll have.
we actually talked to him about it once before and he was interested, so.
Yeah, maybe we'll have Elaine reach out to him and
Yeah.
trying to. Yeah, because I don't think people realize how far out the deadline is in order to get it produced on time, So like we're already planning, we already submitted all of our stuff for spring, the spring edition. It's already, yeah. So, yeah, but we'll, get it going. Maybe the summer one can be the inaugural. Right.
That'd be good.
Yeah. All right, review the mission and purpose of the city's boards and commissions, evaluate which ones need to exist by statute and which ones are no longer relevant. So that
We didn't want to leave Kathy out.
All right. Yeah.
I would say most of the boards and commissions that we have are pretty relevant, but there were 3 that I think we could do some improving on, and I'll go through that real quick here. The Construction Code Board of Appeals, through the city's ordinance, this body was actually repealed on September 25, 2006, but it was replaced by the Uniform Construction Code, which mandates that we have this board. The code.
I broke her heart the other day.
I know. The code, but yeah, Brian, thank you very much. He was very helpful since he is the liaison for most of the boards and commissions on here. But anyways, the code does allow for a board consisting of not less than 3, not more than 7 members. So as a result, it's recommended that we reduce the board members from 7 to 3. So currently we have 1 person on it. And
Do they meet?
pardon me?
Does that person meet?
They haven't met in probably 10 years, but it's
But we do
something
have
that
to
we have
have
to
it.
have.
What do they do?
Well,
What does that one person do, you mean?
Yeah. Nothing right now.
Menace?
Speaking if we're going to recruit someone.
they will hear appeals from decisions that are made by the building official related to the building code or international property maintenance code, which doesn't really happen. They also get involved when the city attempts to force a demolition of a privately owned structure. That determination is made by the city. They can appeal that to a hearing officer, and then if they uphold it, then it goes to the Construction Board of Appeals for a final determination for demolition. And that has happened in my time with the city a couple of times. So
For a membership on that board, do you have to be like an engineer?
it does call for some knowledge in, some type of engineer, building trade, architect.
Do you have to be a resident
No,
of that one?
you do not.
Okay. Might be able to trick a guy.
Perfect.
Okay. Now this one, I think we can get rid of. The Historic District Commission. It was created in 2003 to establish historic districts within Mount Clemens. To date, there's only one historic district, which is the City of Mount Clemens Grand Trunk Depot Historic District, located at 200 Grand Avenue. While the existence of this commission garnered a few grants for the train station, it's no longer useful. There are no other historic districts to be established in Mount Clemens, so this body is no longer relevant.
Do you guys remember when they were trying to change, what was it, Kendrick, right?
Well, it was Lincoln, because when they,
Okay.
yeah.
To make-
The primary function of a historic district commission, it's a regulatory body. When a city has a local historic district, typically those are residential districts. When people want to upgrade or do work on the exterior of their homes, they need to get what's called a certificate of appropriateness from the Historic District Commission to do that work. We don't have any of those local districts in the city. And since we own the only local historic district we have, the train depot property, they don't really serve a purpose at this point.
The city owns the train depot?
I didn't know.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
Before
no.
we get rid of this one, should we reach out to the organization that maintains the station and see if they need it for any grants, or has it already been done?
I don't think they use that.
It's been a while, I think, since the grants.
Yeah, it's probably been,
Years and years and
yeah,
years.
it's
I don't
been
think it's
probably
like
been over a
continuing.
decade since the last grant was applied for.
They're not
Well, they
relying
could
on
use
this
it
for
for-
income or anything.
Well, I had emailed with them about a potential grant, and they were going to look into it, but I don't think it was tied to a historic district designation. I think it was like a museum grant or something, but it's probably worth reaching out to them, though. Worst they can say is yes or no.
Yeah, I can make that contact.
They are very desperate for funding,
Yeah,
but they're also desperate
volunteers.
for people who will work there too. I'm a member, but I can't work on a train, and I don't have any left over time to believe. But and Carl Juice, is that how you say his last name?
Jost.
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 Isn't he in Chicago?
Yeah, he lives in Chicago.
So it gets, but that building, there's only one other one like it, and that's at the Henry Ford. So it's truly a historic treasure to have, and you want to maintain it, but they need help.
I wonder if that historic district designation provides them any. Well, hold on. If we dissolve the commission, does the historic district designation?
That's
Go
what I'm
away?
trying to understand.
Yes,
Does that
but that-
mean they're no
yeah,
longer
that-
a historic district?
Correct. The property is also listed on the National Register of Historic Places, which also would open them up to potential grants. But I'll review all that.
That doesn't go away.
No.
I don't
But I'll
know
reach
now
out.
how I feel about that, if we're gonna take away the designation of the historical district, and it is such a historical piece, and the reason we would do that is because we don't see any activity on the committee and maybe no need for a committee.
Do they get anything out of being, first of all, does the historical district designation go away? Secondly, do they get anything out of it? If they don't get anything out of it, can they still just apply for grants and whatnot, being a historical?
Especially if they have federal designation.
National.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would think that, I hate to use the word, trumps the local one.
Well, yeah, but the local ones are usually a lot less onerous in terms of process.
Sure.
Seeking federal grants is
That's
So,
all,
yeah,
yes.
I will review the entirety of this,
Okay.
talk to Kathy, and then we'll go from there.
Just a quick comment. Maybe they could look at that America 250 grant
I was just gonna say,
program.
the Transit Museum, if they could, I know that's what the Art Center has done,
Yes.
so, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
When we did our parking study, we didn't consider that parking lot that's on that property, but we own that parking lot as well, right?
Yeah, no, that's not, because that's not we only looked at the lots we charge for.
Do we this is way off. Do we anticipate any repairs or anything with that lot or that property?
There's nothing been brought up at budget time.
Okay.
I can.
That little parking lot right there, that's the city. So then we're responsible for those weeds by the track.
Well, usually the volunteers would, go take care of that, but.
They've tried.
But yeah, I mean, we can have the DPW go over there and take care of it if you see they're getting out of control.
Drive by,
All right. One more thing.
One more, sorry.
Yep.
We don't want to steal
The
your time.
Traffic Safety Committee. There's nothing in the charter, code of ordinances, or any resolution that requires this body's existence. It was reinstated by a vote of the City Commission on January 26, 1966, at the recommendation of the city manager at the time. So this committee it's been extremely difficult to recruit and keep members on this committee. They only meet as needed. So if there's nothing going on in the city, there's no traffic issues, then, they don't meet. It's hard to get quorum. I'm not sure, I think Jeff may have mentioned that by having a traffic safety committee, we've gotten grants. I don't really know, but.
It doesn't hurt if you're
Yeah.
going for, especially like an MDOT grant, if you have a recommendation from your local board or committee, that's for sure.
Okay, well,
So-
What does it do? What,
they don't really have any power.
yeah, exactly.
So they might get some complaints that they're speeding on a street, let's say, so they can go in and they can talk about, well, what can we do? Can we lower the speed limit? What's within the ability of the city's powers to do? And then they can make a recommendation through, right, the street department, street director, and then he could bring that. He could either do it if it's within his authority, or he could bring it to the board. So they're an advisory.
Yeah.
Right, so I think they actually advised to lower the speed limit on Dickinson. Am I right on that one?
Yes.
Because you were on the board at that time, right? Okay.
You were on the Traffic Safety Committee board?
Barely met, but when we did, that was one of the biggest, discussions, and it was so large, we ended up meeting in a room downstairs, and that was overcrowded. A lot of residents and stuff came in. But where we are now, I don't know if it was then, but you report an issue now, and it goes to whoever handles it.
Right.
Sometimes we would have the deputy or someone to come in. They were part of the board when they came, but things are different now. That wasn't long ago when I was on that committee.
I was the secretary for a couple years on that, and most of the problems are county roads that we can't do anything
Yeah.
about anyway, so, or, put a traffic light here, well, it's not that easy. I mean, there's not a whole lot with that, but if this body remains, it may be useful to reduce the number of members from 7 to 5. I think 7's excessive. We'll never have 7 people on that.
Did I hear you say we had grants come from that?
I don't know. I don't know. I think I can't really say anything specific. I'm just in the back of my mind, and Jeff isn't
When
here, so.
Yeah, at one time he thought it was possibly a requirement, but I think he found out that that wasn't the case. But if you're writing a grant and you have your own traffic safety committee and they recommended this, right, it only helps, bolster that grant. Yeah.
I definitely understand reducing the minimum members. I like what the beautification committee did, where it's at least this much, but up to this much.
Yeah.
Definitely would lean in that direction. But yeah, 7 seems like that would be difficult to staff.
Yeah.
How many?
Wasn't
are
there
on it
3
right
openings
now?
right
We have
We
4.
have 4.
4. I have seen it getting shared a lot on Facebook over the last couple days by people other than me, which is nice. So I'm hoping maybe you'll hear something soon, but I think most of them were shared kind of passive aggressively, like you're always complaining here.
Yeah.
So maybe that'll.
The
do it.
biggest thing would be to lower the quorum,
Yeah.
right? And then, because the problem is if one person doesn't show up, they can't have a meeting. So
Will you lower the quorum, or do they need to lower the quorum?
I believe they can do that within their,
So isn't it, if you lower how many members are required, then you're
Yeah.
lowering the quorum.
Right.
but we could have it like we did, like Eric was saying, like we just started doing, like we did with the beautification committee, where it's this many are up, and when the membership goes up, the quorum stays.
Can you say in those committees, a majority of the people at the committee meeting?
Well, we have to
Versus
ask
a
Rob on
quorum.
that one, but I think you're gonna have to
As we
dedicate a
did
number
at the
to
time.
either the quorum or the amount of people on the committee, if you
So you're
can word
saying
it that way.
stated quorum, and
If you
not
didn't
just
have to have a quorum,
membership
then
member.
Yeah,
whoever
so
showed
So
up.
you're saying stated
because
quorum of
the
3.
beautification committee's kind of gone up and down so much through the years, and we brought it back so many times, we actually made it where, you gotta have this many, and here's your quorum, but you can have up to this many, and then the quorum didn't.
But then you didn't
Change
state a
it.
quorum. You just stated a minimum.
Have to go back and look now.
Okay.
Some committees have most committees, right, have a city liaison.
Some do, yeah.
Including that one.
Yeah.
Because that one, a lot of the complaints are with county roads, could we add a county liaison?
We can try,
Try, I guess. Yeah, you can't force them to come, but,
yeah.
the very least, the one meeting I went to, I think all of it was talking about, Gratiot, and there's just nothing that could be done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Anybody else have anything on the city boards and commissions? Kathy, did we cover yours?
Yep.
Okay.
So
Now we
we
have
have
number
to
3,
follow
right?
up.
Sorry, promote.
We're going to follow up on these points and then.
Yep.
Okay.
And then promote the city's boards and commissions.
Eric.
Eric.
I've seen other commission members. I've seen other members of the community. Like
We're using social media
Yeah.
to recruit.
Clementines.
yes,
Yeah.
there's been some momentum. I would be curious to know if the number of filled spots compared to the number of open spots has increased over the last year or so. Like, of this many board positions, this many are filled. Is that number higher? Or
I'll tell you, it's higher.
It's definitely
It's definitely
I
up.
really thought so, but I wanted to
I don't
hear
know that
from-
we have the actual this statistic.
I don't have last year's, but I have a current count. If
Okay.
anybody's interested, I guess
Yeah.
that's
Yeah, that's great.
my
Yeah.
metric number one is, well, there's currently 16 boards and committees, 17 if you count the library board. We don't really, they kind of do their own thing, but we do approve their appointment.
Some of them.
Yeah, there's
Right.
one. I
The
think.
school board gets how many?
Gosh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
It's
a
like
mix.
3.
They get
yeah.
some. We get some.
Right.
Yeah. So.
So we don't really recruit for that because they kind of have their own
Yeah.
people.
Well, they're
and
a commission,
Yeah,
right? They're a commission, not a board or committee, because there's a difference.
But yeah,
Right,
but we said
commission
board.
operates on their own.
But it says board and commission.
Commission.
it's actually on the application too for if people want to apply for it, but it's kind of, but anyways, so we have 91 positions, 78 of them are currently filled.
That's really good.
Yeah, and so we have 13 vacancies, and if we cut down,
Yes.
well, then
On the spots.
we'll probably
Yeah.
go down to like 9 or 10.
Right.
So.
You get after this from the numerator or
It's
the
actually
denominator.
much.
Yes, and also too, I think it's good with our website how we have the list, like there's
Yes.
and when we get trained on the software, because currently it's not up to date because we don't, we're not trained on it yet, so.
And
but
we're also getting fillable forms.
yes.
So where we can,
Hallelujah.
people can submit it right via the website.
Right, that'll be
Less
helpful.
trying to take a picture of a PDF I signed.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah, definitely want to
We're
make
trying to
it-
remove barriers and roadblocks.
right, especially with
We're
applications.
trying
and
to get fillable forms.
Everywhere else
we're
has
trying.
fillable
The
applications.
cost for the
so-
software,
It's expensive.
we're trying to find a cheaper route because it's crazy expensive what they wanted
For a forms.
to make the form fillable. Yeah.
And submit.
I would recommend reaching out to the county. They are in the middle of transitioning from, they had been using one thing and now they're trying
Okay.
another thing.
Okay.
It may be a terrible plan, what they're
Yeah.
transitioning to, or it might be great. I haven't used it yet, but they've got their hands on 2 of them right now, so they might be able to provide some insight
But
on
even,
other options.
even Microsoft and Google have forms that you can embed into web pages.
So
Yeah,
going
we're
through
kind of
our
working
IT, you got to worry about here security.
Security.
And so what was recommended is something called JotForm.
Oh, yeah.
And
But
it,
the paying of
It's-
JotForm, not.
it's
not-
That's the
expensive.
one where the
Yeah.
county is transitioning away from, is JotForm. And the one they're transitioning to,
Monday?
I don't know, I think it's staggered.
we'll definitely check with them and see if
Yeah.
there's something. I mean, it's,
I'll-
for the few forms we had, it was pretty expensive.
And
so.
the problem, JotForm is pretty cool, but what it can do is very, very robust. Same with Monday. It's really cool, but like, you know, you're getting what you pay for, but I don't know that we need, you know what I mean? So anyway,
Yeah.
without getting into it. So, okay. Everybody look at the metrics here. Board and commission vacancies, measure and partnership agreements, goals accomplished by boards and committees. So, you know, what do you think? Yeah, absolutely. Although I don't
Have
know
we
that every
been
board
doing
has
it?
goals.
Right. I can't see how we've done this. It's a good metric, goals accomplished, but I don't think they have. Do we know the goals? Do we know?
No. I don't actually think that I know that the Historic Commission is doing a, the Historical Commission's doing a strategic planning session, and they're doing some goals. I know, I love it. So that's really cool, but I think they're really, I don't even think beautification, who's very, very active, I don't know that they have any formal goals or strategic.
Do a rose garden?
Yeah, I mean, right, they've got projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they've set anything
Just kind
goal
of
oriented,
goals.
so I think that's kind of lofty. I don't think it really exists at this point, the goals accomplished by boards and committees. Maybe projects would be a better,
Yeah, I think that would make sense because that's things, you know, the master plan also, like there's all these. And also just number 3 should be boards, committees and commissions, I think. Some of these are,
What would be the
Yeah.
project for the traffic committee?
exactly.
well, not all of them are gonna have it either.
Yeah, not all of them will have projects, so.
Well, I mean, maybe it's lowering the speed limit on Dickinson, right? Is that a
But they,
project?
they wouldn't set that as a project. They would wait till someone came to them.
Well, right, but I mean, they could report that as a project they did, right?
And I think the people who get on the committees have ideas of things they'd like to do. Where if we told them, hey, give us a list of some projects or goals that you may have, I could think a lot of these advisory commissions and boards could come up with something.
What if we just call it accomplishments? Instead of goals accomplished, projects accomplished, just accomplishments by boards and committees.
Sure.
I like that.
Keep it simpler,
Yep, I agree.
let them define their own
Accomplishment.
success.
Just your account.
I think that covers everything on there. All right. Anybody else, anything for Objective 4? All right, we're moving to, well, I want to time this out here. We've got, let's take a look. We've got a couple more sections here. The big ones, recreation, providing opportunities for connecting and engaging with the community, and we've got some big ones, and then fire. So it's 8 o'clock already. I see all some heavy eyes, and I don't blame you. So I don't know what is the will of the commission in terms of, do we continue on, or do
I'm
we
good
say we're going to have another strategic planning session?
It was hard enough to get us here for this.
Yeah, okay, well, we keep going.
Yep, I'm good to go.
I'm not tapping out first.
Okay, connecting and engaging with the community, providing opportunities for residents and stakeholders to have a voice in the decision-making process. Objective 1, enhance communication with the public. And the strategy number 1, is develop a community survey to measure effectiveness of city operations to include communication with the public. Greg, I feel like this is you, and I know.
Yeah, we
kind of
talked
already
about it. Yeah, we're gonna do it. I think we're gonna utilize the county, the software. It's too costly, and we got more options with the county, and it's cheaper.
All right, number 2, ensure that eligible staff are well trained to facilitate media inquiries and public engagement. That would be Greg as well.
Yeah, so, currently only the city manager or the assistant city manager, in the absence of the city manager and the fire chief, are permitted to address the media, and we've all had training in that area and experience as well.
Is there anything that can be added? I know a couple of weeks ago there were some stories that, weren't exactly fully honest from the media about situations in the city. Is there anything more proactive? I mean, it's I don't know how to get them to reach out to you every time. They know how to get a hold of you
Sure.
if they want, but it was kind of egregious that it happened that way.
Yeah, and we're seeing more of that where they're not reaching out for
Watching our
the
videos.
other opinion. They're just watching
That's it.
videos, and they're actually taking people out of context. People in this room, I'm sure we know some of the comments that were taken out of context. So I guess we need to try to. I guess we could try to bridge that gap with them and go look at,
They
if you
don't
really-
always give you warning though about what they're going to publish, or
Yeah.
Rarely.
rarely, yes. Number 1,
Page 12.
or ask for comment.
I mean, I feel like Roxanne, do you have any?
I do.
Yeah,
I'm
thank
sorry, I was kind of asleep at the wheel. We're discussing the second strategy, right?
you. Yeah.
I made some notes earlier today on the one on my computer about some of the language. I don't know if we want to say eligible staff. I would recommend that we say ensure that trained staff are available or on hand to facilitate, because eligible just raises questions like who's that? Is that not me, or is that not you? And I don't know if it needs to be made clear that it's probably not going to be one and the same that handles media inquiries, and it's not going to be the same person probably that handles the media inquiries versus the public engagement. Would it be the same staff person, Greg? I would say not. Media relations is a very kind of niche area, and you really do want your public relations person to handle that for you.
We don't have a.
Yeah, we don't have
As
that.
soon as I said that, I said, I don't know who's wearing that.
Right,
I know
exactly.
I don't see that title anywhere, but
I guess we got to ask, so what,
Yeah.
when we say public engagement, what are we really saying there? I guess that's the next, right?
Are those our residents? Is that a very broad
This-
population of people? We don't have a media.
This feels like just news, like something happened.
Media person.
Like today.
Yes, like this feels just specific to that.
Yeah. I think so too. I don't think we mean like who's going to run a town hall,
Right.
right?
So it's more like public messaging.
Although it is the same person.
Yeah.
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 Please go ahead.
I was just gonna say, when you say public engagement, you kind of take it in another direction. But if we're talking about facilitating media and public inquiries, because you will get inquiries from the public as well as the media, that might make it more specific to this particular arena.
This is also the social media that gets put out. On
Yeah, it could be that
topics.
too. Yeah. Maybe that's what we were thinking more. So like the public engagement part could be, as simple as social media comments.
Then I think we should say it that way, because you don't want to
Yeah.
raise more questions than you're answering.
Right.
Public engagement on social
Well, if we had to try to decipher what it means, most of the public doesn't know either.
I would also add on this point, I know that there's working on a handbook. I think it could be good for us to have a discussion about what maybe just a basic media training for commissioners. I think we get asked for our opinions sometimes, and especially early on, it's not clear what to say. And so I think while we all are kind of independent and if we're reached out to, we can give our opinion, I think it could be good to have a baseline of just best practices
Yeah.
that you're looking to do.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the fact of the matter is, as a commissioner or as the mayor or whatever, you know, we, in the past, I remember when I first became a commissioner, and I don't know when Barb was the mayor, I remember being talked to by the city manager and saying, if you are contacted by the media, you should tell them to call the city manager or
Yes.
the mayor.
We were told that.
We were
in
told
spades,
that,
Yeah.
which
yeah, it was.
I was always like, well, but maybe they wanted another opinion, you know, and
Right.
you're a, you know, so I certainly would not give that directive, but I thought that was interesting that, you know, so that maybe there was that mindset of you're trying to not get but I think as a board, right, as all elected officials, then we clearly, I think what you're saying is definitely a better solution, right? To be able to just give everybody some tips on,
How to say what you mean.
yeah, in a way that communicates effectively.
Right.
I saw this with the county though. And the reasoning we were told behind it is because you represent the county. So in our case, it would be because we don't have a media person or a main contact person for, I don't even know who creates the page, the social media page. But it is that because you're representing the entire, we would be representing the entire city. So our comment, eventually, I don't know, I wonder how the attorney, what his opinion is on it though, but eventually could hurt the city from that comment or what have you, as opposed to leaving it up with one person, but we don't even have that person.
But I also think as elected officials,
that's my personal opinion, what I say.
yeah, and you are entitled to that freedom of being able to talk to the press. But I think staff-wise,
Oh, yeah.
it's different, right? Staff, that Greg and the city attorney handle that. So that, I think you're right, though. I can see where, because they can definitely put us in a litigious position, right?
I just want to jump in here as a former media relations
Please.
trainer and media relations person, is that it really depends on the issue. Because when you do need to control the narrative, that's where the legal aspect comes in. And when it's a controversial issue, a sensitive issue, an issue where there's liability, then when you're contacted, I think, and this speaks to your point, we need to put this in the manual procedurally. When you're contacted, you need to let the city manager and city officials know that I've been contacted by the media and they want my comment on such and such an issue. Obviously, when it's really sensitive, you don't want to say the wrong thing. And when there's information that we may be privy to, but it's off the record, and we don't want it out in the media, we have to be very careful not to say something that we know, but that the public is not privy to.
Right.
So that's why for controversial issues, it's very important to have it go through channels. When it's like, you know, our individual opinions on benign topics, which they're going to ask, that's way different. So
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just think we have to
There's a
approach
lot
it
of
on a
scenarios.
case-by-case basis.
That's right. And I mean, there's always things like, you know, employee matters or anything that was discussed in closed session. I mean, all those things we're bound to not disclose, right? I mean, so.
Yeah, so having a list of those
Yeah.
would be
That would be
great to have
helpful.
in the book. Like, don't talk about
Anything in a closed session, you just keep it.
Yeah. What happens in closed session stays in closed session. Right.
that too.
All right. Are we on 3? No. Yeah. Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Communicate
Yes.
city policies, programs, processes, and budget with an emphasis on highlighting successful outcomes.
It's kind of redundant from what we talked about before. Again, I would mention all the same, you know, outreaches that we have with social media, website, Clementine, news, newspaper, articles, news interviews.
And again, I would just say, let's broaden and not just speak on highlighting successful outcomes, but also imparting information, because so much of the public needs to have information disseminated to them in as many ways as we can do it. You know, you think that everybody knows it, but they don't. So I think that's important. Every time we talking about our successful outcomes, we should also be talking about and disseminating important information on just basic services and resources and things like that.
Yeah,
That's very good. I agree with that.
absolutely. All right. Yep, go
Also
ahead.
mention that doing it more than once, both with the important information things, but also with the successes. Like, I know you guys save it all up for the state of the city, but like you can share some of the wins early. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Well, we've been
but also
doing
with
some
the
of that.
informational things, inevitably there will always be somebody that said, "Why didn't you say this sooner?" Even though we had just said it a week ago or whatever.
Yeah. Like today that happened.
Yeah.
So, but I will, definitely. We have been doing, like, in the social media meeting last week, we said, or at the beginning of January, but like, it's a kind of a light month in terms of like, there's not as many holidays, there's not enough, so we were trying to do like exactly what, you're saying. Let's talk about some of the wins, like the retirement board thing and the, trying to just talk about some more general information about good things.
Is that in the Clementine towards the back? So they can see the previous 3 months of accomplishments within the city? Is that in that?
It's usually in your letter, right?
Yeah, I was going to say in my, I
it.
usually
Accomplishments in
do,
there.
in my mayor letter, I usually talk about the last quarter, about what we, worked on and accomplished and some highlights, and then what we're gonna, what we're gonna
I mean,
work
not
on.
trying to be funny, seriously, but they would in the back, like just bullets or our city's accomplishments or what have you. Being honest, because a lot of people are forcing some social media, they figure everybody read, this is how you get this information. Most of our city people don't even have computers. Look at the libraries. That's why they're all in the library. So this Clementine book with as much information as we can put in here is golden, especially our seniors.
Depending on what the information is we're trying to
Get out.
disseminate, some projects may warrant a page or of bullet points, because
We did do
bullet
that
points
for
are better than
DRP.
But some things are just not worthy of a page.
Right,
A bar graph of pie chart.
Is there a place on the website to talk about successes? I mean, I think there should be something there too. I mean, this is kind of a news flash because again, we are very close to the source, but everybody does not read Clementines.
Oh, for
And,
sure.
so, and you can just look at the circulation in the numbers and know that not everybody's going to be able to read it in terms of the numbers and, how it's, but I think that the website, when people are driven to the website for a variety of reasons, if there's a banner or something that talks about our successes and there's a link, then boom, that's another way.
Yeah, maybe.
Two things. One, I think, so communicate city policies, programs, processes, and budget. The city of Saginaw, their social media does a great job highlighting the people behind the operation. It really humanizes, which I don't know if staff want to, be highlighted, but it puts a human face to it, and maybe board members or, it puts, now when you're calling a department, you're not just getting,
We were doing that in the fire department when I was the chief over there, and I could not get those guys that did not want to do it. It was tough. I got one or two that agreed to do it. But yeah, we can definitely, it'll be on a volunteer basis, let's put it that way. We will try to talk them into it.
It may be
Kathy's
you're
first.
asked to just do
Make
like
a lane to
a
it.
department instead of like an individual.
Well, that's like,
Although, yeah, so like
HR,
I don't think we
an
get
individual.
we get his whole department.
Right.
Maybe
Yeah,
know.
his whole department.
I
I think a lot of times people feign that modesty on that one because in my many, many years of doing this kind of work, I never had to twist an arm to get someone to agree to a profile on themselves. That's nicely positioned, but it does mean more work because someone has to write these things up. So somebody has to write these little feature profiles. I guess
Right.
right.
Yeah. All right, well, so we'll try the first one with Kathy. We'll see how that goes.
Okay, I was going to give an example why that'd be great, but fine. Just one other point on this. I think just having check-ins with the commission, check-ins isn't the right word, but about the direction our social media is going in and more for what we'd like to see, I think a little bit more regularly, not just when something happens, could be helpful.
Yeah, and I know, feel welcome to reach out if you got an idea. I know some do. So we'll get it on there.
They just don't, and that's one thing we talked about for the manual, but that's just something that it's really not clear. It's not a process on how do you get something out there if I'm having an event. And when I had an event, I just emailed and
Yeah.
You shared it. I'm thankful for that.
Yeah, and we gotta, we do have to watch what we post, right? And so, but yeah, usually if it's something that, is related to the city, that's the key, right? It's gotta be like a city function somehow.
Or serve the residents,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. We gotta be careful that we don't promote a business, specifically and things like that.
But then we can also direct it to the DDA page.
So then we can,
we
direct it to the DDA. We've done that before.
There are things we can do. But yeah, if you, I think especially in the social media range, if you see, or especially the different channels, we rely on Hunchfree and their team to really help us with that, kind of tailor it to be the different channels, different information. But if you are seeing things that you think we should do differently, that'd be great.
And if you think people don't like you, I can tell you one of the top hits is when you go to CapCon and we take pictures and we post it. It's you guys and girls. You usually get the most hits.
Great.
With all the water stuff coming up, though, it would be great in the Clementines too, really. All kidding aside, feature more about the water department and some of the things, and the sewer department, and what's going on in there. I can't tell you how many people have brought that lead pipe letter to me and said, "Can I drink this water?" And I say, "I drink the water." And I said, "Then Lenny's not going to let the water that you're drinking be bad." So that's my faith, and drink the water.
We hate the letter. Eagle Mesa put it out.
I know, I say that too. We had to put it out.
They make you use their wording. That scares everyone.
Yep.
We tried to fight them on it.
Litigation.
Yeah, we tried to fight them. We got our environmental attorney involved, and we went round and round, and all our thing is the way you word it, you're scaring people when there's not a problem.
Right.
And that's all we wanted to do, was just make it so it didn't do that.
Right.
And they wouldn't budge.
All right, are we good to move?
Yes.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
I always look to you.
I'm the problem here.
Did you take a nap?
I don't think they're
Last
going to
thing,
the rest.
this metric
Yeah.
makes no sense. Percentage of trained staff.
I know.
That was for the people that had to be trained to address the media, is where I think that was.
Yeah.
Again, that percentage of
Well,
it will look great.
And so we're 100%.
All right, I see.
We'll change
Scratch
it.
that one.
All right. A safe community. So all people feel safe to live, work, and visit Mount Clemens at all times throughout our community. Objective number 1, provide professional police, fire, and medical EMS service that enhance trust, transparency, accountability, and the safety of every resident, employer, employee, and visitor. So I think we're going to hand this pretty much to Dan, except for one. So Dan, he gave us his handy dandy.
Thank you. Yes, provided everybody a copy of a written performance report. that outlines all the benchmarks that we did hit. So strategy number one of objective number one was to develop and implement a fire department strategic plan. In 2025, the department issued and implemented 42 written policies and procedural documents to enhance operational efficiency, effectiveness, and economy. We did a comprehensive review of everything from the mission statement to operational directives. And the intent of that was to position us better for city liability, improve workplace health and safety, and then to improve on what's already been a track record of professional emergency services. How do we stay modern and progressive and keep moving forward? These initiatives resulted in some measurable improvements in a lot of areas, but some of the key ones are community service delivery. One that I'm really proud of, quite honestly, is city liability reduction and risk management. We're much better positioned with MIOSHA, the Michigan Municipal League, Workers' Comp, and all those kind of oversights and authorities that are very prominent in what we do, but that the average person doesn't know that's the kind of thing that I deal with. Employee health and safety has been a personal priority of mine. I think that my position as the old guy is to teach the young ones how to become the old guy someday. And this is an occupation that is defined by NIOSH as ultra hazardous, right? There are a lot of injuries every year and even fatalities. So we developed, one key accomplishment, and I think that really helps us with MIOSHA in particular, is the development of a written respiratory protection plan. So when you look at occupational risk management, quite often it's, do you have a policy? Did you train on the policy, and do the employees know the policy? So when I kind of did an executive analysis of kind of where we were, I started strategizing. My focus is going to be on the big stuff, that if we have a problem, the city could be sued, or there could be litigation related to a workplace injury. And then I worked towards the less important stuff as we went along. So we now have a written injury and prevention plan, and we are very much the culture of the Mount Clemens Fire Department is cancer prevention. We work in this atmosphere that is just, by its nature, firefighters get cancer. Okay, it almost comes with the badge. So, what I really want to, again, teach them is the way that you really win at this thing is to retire and live where the pension board says, can you believe this guy is still collecting this pension? I don't want my firefighters to retire, get sick, and be gone within 2 months, which happens on a lot of fire departments. So we provide them with NFPA compliant physical examinations on a yearly basis that's testing things like lead in their blood and cancer screening, and then we've written a number of updated safety, operational, and training policies that kind of solidify that whole idea of bringing safety into our culture. And then by doing that, we get better work comp rates, and the city saves, and we don't have some of the problems associated with disability and or long-term illness of our employees. So
Wow.
I think we did good.
Wow. It's amazing.
And I'm not done yet either. I just got started.
All right.
So there's a lot more on the horizon there.
So where are the additional things, further development of a lot of these key facts here or key strategies? There's more to be done there, or is there more than just
there's still some things that need to be done, and the thing about the fire department is the threat evolves, right? As technology changes and the times change, the thing that we are dealing with, it morphs and changes. So I have to kind of always be
I'd rather be at the tip of the spear of kind of leading positive change than being reactive. So proactive versus reactive. And if I'm ever just sitting on my hands doing nothing, shame on me, because the world is not doing that. It continues to spin. So
Wow,
more coming.
very impressive.
Objective number 2 is the smoke detector and home safety program. Now, if you look in the report that I provided you, I've advertised this idea through all of the standard government ways of doing it. Facebook and the Clementines and a magazine article and city manager reports and etc. The bottom line is a couple of commissioners spoke to this. Some people don't read the Clementines. You either do or you don't. If you do, you've seen me every 3 months say this, pretty much the same thing. If you don't read it, you've never heard that. If we're going to, because despite all these articles that I wrote, 15 times did somebody come to the fire station to get a free smoke detector. That's a fail in my book, okay? My goal is for every home to have a working smoke detector on every single floor. The basement, the first floor, the second floor, and if you really want to be happy, let's put one in the attic as well, okay? This can only be addressed through boots on the ground. We got to be out and engage the public, and because some of them don't have a computer. The elderly people are an at-risk demographic too, right? Some of them haven't changed the smoke detector battery in forever, right? So I've been thinking about this, not just because of this strategic analysis, but how do I get some outreach to the community? We're going to have to engage with recreation and try to be at some of these events. And a couple weeks ago, I had Ann order us a table and then like a skirting that goes around the table, and it's going to say Mount Clemens Fire Department on it and give that little bit of a visual pop. But I think with some signage and a couple of well-placed firefighters with a stack of smoke detectors, and quite honestly, we have enough at this point that I almost feel like we don't even need to ask you a question. Want one? Here.
That's right.
People always want to go to the table where the firefighters are.
Sure. So
The farm market.
admittedly, that is one
Exactly.
strategy that we got to improve on, and I think that we will. Part of the job of the fire department is it's not just putting them out; it's also prevention and education. So I have a plan, and we'll kind of see how that goes.
One idea I know, I don't know whether, so Meals on Wheels, when they deliver, we've been able to get surveys back very easily through that. And if you coordinate with the Office of Senior Services, they may be able to either put a flyer in for those getting delivered in Mount Clemens, or maybe you can work something else out.
That's a great idea. And they're going to the target audience.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Excellent. Yeah.
Excellent idea.
If you want to send somebody on the road as a meal,
Homebound
let's try it.
seniors.
Need more volunteers.
You can pack the smoke detectors with you.
No extra volunteers.
And if you know somebody, just ask them. How do you know it works? Did you ever go over there and press the button? Right, and they do expire too. At 10 years, they need to be taken down and get a new one. And I got hundreds of them in the firehouse. So help me, and we'll achieve that goal.
No problem, buddy.
Okay, strategy number 3 was to maintain an effective firefighter emotional survival and awareness program. In 2025, we did establish a health and safety officer and a health and safety committee to collaboratively address all aspects of employee health and safety, but to include emotional wellness and mental health. And it's shocking, but I think you can guess, based on the question I'm going to ask you, the number one killer of public safety professionals unfortunately, it's suicide. And which is shocking to me because, and it quite honestly hurts my heart because these are people that are so deeply affected by trying to help people that they become so desperate they take their own life. And many of them, in my opinion, they really had the world in the palm of their hand, but couldn't see that anymore. So what we've done is we sent some of our crews out for peer support training and suicide prevention training, and we include mental health as a standing agenda item on the Health and Safety Committee. So we are talking about it, and I think as an industry, this younger generation has decided that you don't have to put your heart and your emotion to the side, kid, because this is a man's job and suck it up, right? That really doesn't work. So they're very open to it, and I think as leaders, it's important for us to kind of make that happen. So I'm also really active in the Macomb County Fire Chiefs Association. In April, I'll be the president. And there are a number of initiatives that we kind of sponsor and support in that group to make sure that the industry has access to mental health resources. And I've listed a bunch of them. But really what it takes is people like myself saying, it's okay to be a human. And let's learn how to talk and get each other through this, right? And help is available. So rest assured that here in the Mount Clemens Fire Department, the crews know that help is available and they're encouraged to seek it, and we keep an eye on it. So, any questions on that? Okay. Number 4, maintain an effective asset management plan and strategy for fire equipment, facilities, and apparatus. There was an error in my report. I said during the fiscal years 24, 25, and 25. It's 23, 24, 24, 25, because we're in 25, 26. But I believe we've demonstrated strong fiscal stewardship by conducting both years under budget. Okay. While we completed significant improvements and operational changes, we wrote some grants that I have listed out here for you. If I added them up real quickly, it's probably close to $300,000 that offset many of our, the big items. We got them covered. Another thing that we did was we implemented an in-house SCBA maintenance and inspection technician program. So where in the past we had to send our equipment out for a lot of money to have somebody certify it and repair it, we trained 5 employees and we built a shop inside the station, and now we do it ourselves. So there'll be significant cost savings moving forward for many, many years. And it also gives us a unique opportunity, if we decided to do this, that we could create a revenue stream by doing it for other fire departments. So, which is...
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not really a conventional revenue stream, and it won't be millions of dollars, but it might pay the phone bill, and I thought that could help.
Very little bit helps.
And then I would say,
SCBA?
Self-contained breathing apparatus.
Okay.
So it's like a scuba without the U, which would be underwater, because we don't do that. And then I've done an asset evaluation of the department, and what I can say honestly is that we are really positioned well for the next 10 years. Okay. Once we get that new fire engine, I feel like we just have to worry about breaking stuff and our expendables, right? Our major assets are covered, and we're in really, really good shape.
That's great news. That's great.
Number 5 is, I think I'll defer that to Mr. Shipman.
You can keep going. We come back to it if you
Okay,
want, Dan.
so
You're on a roll.
let's skip, we'll go right now to EMS collaboration. And the objective, the strategy is to continue to collaborate with EMS providers to maintain a high level of service. In 2025, the city revised its service contract with MedStar to align response guidelines with current standards established by, the National Academy of Emergency Medical Dispatch, Macomb County Medical Control, Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, EMS Division, and what it boils down to is the revised response matrix that we've implemented as reduced fire department responses to low priority calls. Okay. So where in the past, the contract kind of expected the fire department to go on stub toes, for instance. I don't send the men on stub toes. Okay? Fire rescue is for life-threatening emergencies. Okay? So there's a response priority matrix. We go to immediately life-threatening or potentially life-threatening, and in some cases, sort of serious, or maybe could be serious. But those low priority calls, we defer that directly to EMS provider. And because you don't need a fire engine at those, lower priority calls. And, the thing about going to low priority runs is you can't have another call come in and simply say to somebody, we're leaving, we have to, right? It's abandoned, you can't do that. It's a legal liability. So we're kind of, not deploying to those low priority runs so that we are available for the real life-threatening emergencies. So there has been a reduction in run time at the fire department, but there has not been a reduction in fire department responses to life-threatening, right? And for the commission and for anybody that's watching this at home, you have my word that I would put the entirety of all resources available to me to saving a life. And it doesn't matter if I thought we were going to save a life in Canada, they'd be going to Canada right now. So while we've kind of changed things a little bit, the fire department, I think, is now better positioned to really save lives and avoid some of those delays that could be costly in the future. I also maintain regular communication with MedStar's leadership, the CEO and the operational staff. And we have a number of quality assurance and quality improvement meetings scheduled for 2026 on the quarters, basically. So that'll give me an opportunity to sit down with them and we can talk about how things are going and, really what kind of the survivability profile is really what I'm after. The effectiveness of what we're doing, right? And, that is gauged by, did they get up from the hospital and go back home, right? So more to come on that, okay? We have a fire department lieutenant that serves as a liaison to dispatch contact. You've probably heard us say that. So if there is any glitch in the system, we got a individual that meets with them on a very regular basis and has open dialogue and communication where we can address that immediately. And in 2025, we had one complaint, at least that made it to my office. Only one. And when I looked into it, I'll just say that it wasn't real. It was meritless. So I have high confidence in the operating model and what we're doing at the fire department here. Emergency services are in really good shape in Mount Clemens.
Excellent.
Okay, and did we want to go over the metrics? I can real quick. I'm still going to finish in less time than Kevin took. So smoke detector coverage in multi-family residential properties that we have a jurisdictional authority and requirement to inspect, 100%, right? That's why we go. Single-family residence, however, is super hard to quantify. I don't know, because we don't go into people's houses on, on that level. But what I can say is when it comes to smoke detectors, sometimes what you don't know is a good sign. Because people don't call us because almost had a fire or, ooh, that was close. Sometimes they do, but quite often they don't, right? So we'll just continue to ramp up that outreach, and sometimes no news is good news. Metric number 2 was the ISO Public Protection Classification. The ISO number, you've heard of that one, right? It's what they say that insurance rates are based on. Not necessarily true for homeowners, but certainly yes for industry and commercial businesses. We are a class 3, called a class 3, which is excellent. It puts us in the top 10% nationally. And after reviewing that PPC report, I know that with some collaboration between the fire department and the water department, we could be a 2. It won't come easy, but if that was an initiative that we wanted to take, I can tell you right now we can hit that mark. And that'll put us in the top probably 4% in the nation. Customer satisfaction, as I said, we only had 1 complaint, and that's pretty good, and it was found to be without merit. Metric number 4 was firefighter injuries, and I will say that the injury rates continue to decline. In my OSHA 300 logs kept by the city will kind of demonstrate that. But I would preface this idea by saying this is a job where there's going to be injuries, okay? Cuts and boo-boos and strains and minor burns. And, we've had we had a very serious injury recently with a dog bite, which is something that people don't think that we get bit by dogs also. But through proactive policy and enforcement of policy and that kind of thing, those numbers are going down. That's part of my job as the chief. And we talked about ongoing communication with the EMS and the quarterly QI meetings that were scheduled for the year. So that takes care of that. And I hope that my report is to the satisfaction of the commission, and
Absolutely.
we're appreciative of your support, and like I said, we're not done.
Excellent report. Very, very good.
You have some good grading points.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of stuff I
One of
didn't
the
know.
questions I had in terms of safe community was one of the topics that came up at CapCon last year, and that was that Eric and I remember was having an emergency management plan that was for mass events, right? Or like let's say we heard a story about Rochester had a shooting at their splash pad,
Yes.
and how to handle that, right? And how what is the role of the commissioners during that? What is the role of the mayor? What is the role of city managers? And having that type of plan and the implementation of that, and
Maybe
I know we've
do a
mentioned that.
tabletop or something.
Right.
talk
So,
through it.
but I don't think we have I don't. If we do, I'm not aware of it. But I mean, we have an emergency management plan. But I know that we all haven't been really, schooled in that, and I don't want to pull that out at the time of the event. I would much rather have a training of that. So
I agree with you, and there are a lot of resources that are available to you as commissioners and administrative leaders at the Emergency Management Institute in Emmitsburg, Maryland is really the kind of the hub of that. But it's recommended that any government body has baseline incident command system training, because if we have a bad day, and I don't mean just like a storm, I mean like a disaster.
right,
This is going to be an all-hands event.
sure.
So there's a basic framework that everybody should understand and kind of know where they interface with that, how to communicate when and to whom, and
Right.
and because our ultimate goal is quick mitigation and then recovery. How do we get back to normal, right? I mean, something to think about for this government body is what is our continuity of operations plan?
Exactly.
What if a tornado comes through and City Hall is not here tomorrow?
Right.
What then? Right. So that's the kind of thing that I think we need, and that it is available. But it would have to be a priority, right? And we all have to decide that that's what we're going to do. And if we want to do that, I'm willing to kind of lead that effort. But yeah, quite honestly, we're weak in some stuff, right?
Right.
We're fortunate in that the county has a really great plan, but
But I don't think we know our roles.
no,
That's what my
right,
point of this is.
we
Yeah.
all play roles in it, right? So when you're ready, let me know.
Well, I'm letting you know that.
Yep. Well, it's a good segue because that really takes us to objective 2. So if you don't mind, I'll just keep on rolling.
Great segue.
So objective 2 is prepare for and provide a timely, equitable, and effective response to emergencies and disasters and support the community's recovery efforts. So there's 4 strategies, and rather than kind of go through them, I'll read them one by one, but rather than speaking on them individually, I'll just kind of tell you what they are, and then we'll go into one great big synopsis, but I'm going to really compress down. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version in the interest of time. So the strategies were to resource and deploy an effective emergency management plan. Number 2, ensure personnel are properly equipped and trained to provide effective mitigation, preparedness, response, and recovery. Number 3, construct and maintain facilities, equipment, and technology necessary for emergency operations. And number 4, enhance communication, coordination, and collaboration before, during, and after an emergency response. So in 2025, the department made significant investments in the city's emergency management and recovery plan, including resource acquisition, records management, and operational training initiatives. Accomplishments included the purchase of 2 emergency management dedicated handheld radios. And let me just expand on that. During a disaster, communications is key, right? So we have some radios that are not in the regular firefighter inventory. They're kind of set aside for at the emergency operations center only, right? Truth is, we could probably use a few more, but they're expensive, and 2 is better than the 0 that we had previously. So, acquisition and implementation of a mobile incident command post workstation, and what this is it's a task board that we can take to an incident, and it helps us determine what our operational benchmarks are and make sure that we're checking all the important boxes. It improves organizational deployment of resources and significantly improves accountability for our personnel. Where are my people at, right? So I can use that tool for that. We implemented a new fire record management system. It's a mobile web-based platform that goes anywhere, right? It's all comprehensive, all aspects of the fire department, everything from inventory and that type of thing is put in the system. But the important stuff like firefighter right to know and MSDSs and hazardous materials reports. So we can go to the front of any building in Mount Clemens at 4:30 in the morning and just by the address, bring it up and say, oh, look, they got methyl ethyl bad stuff. They got all, this kind of stuff, and or here's a floor plan. So it greatly improves our response capability, our preparedness, and employee safety. We installed Wi-Fi connected tablets that have that software in every piece of fire apparatus. We completed a firefighter right to know hazard assessment for all the high-risk businesses in the city, and we came up with incident action plans for them. We trained with high-risk partners, Exalta. We trained with the railroad about hazardous incidents involving the railroad. We've conducted mass casualty incident training, which the mayor was talking about, active shooter scenarios and incidents where there's lots of hurt people type of scenarios. Coming pretty quickly here, in fact, on the next agenda, there will likely be the Macomb County Hazard Mitigation Plan for the period of 2025 through 2030 for council consideration and adoption. which I'm going to recommend that we do. It's a very straightforward document that helps us primarily with recovery funds, right? If you don't have the right signature in the right spot, FEMA can say, well, you don't qualify. We can't help. So we're going to be fine. We've completed National Incident Management System training and Incident Command System training by all personnel, and that's the thing that I would like to expand to the commission moving forward. So very quickly, performance objectives, dispatch call and turnaround times. We're compliant with all national standards and best practices, and as the fire chief, I can tell you we're doing good. Response times are excellent. And our hazard mitigation plans are all updated in accordance with national standards, MIOSHA requirements, and industry best practices. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Still less time than Kevin.
Did somebody time that? Just to confirm
That was nice report.
And I apologize, and I had a lot to say. I'm sorry.
Great report. I just have one question.
Okay, wait.
One question.
Wait.
How much does it cost to get to level 2? Oh, sorry.
She was very focused.
You have to yell louder.
Are members of the commission entitled to the smoke detectors? Because I live in my mother's house and I could probably use 3. Because
He said, no questions asked.
That tells me you're fine.
Yes, by all means, please.
Okay. So back to where we're at class 3. What does it take to get to class 2?
Paperwork, generally
Okay.
speaking. And so there are 3 factors that are kind of components of the overall classification. Fire department, and that there are many variables and little snippets that go into that. The water system, or the fire department's ability to deliver water to the problem, right? And then dispatch and alarm mechanisms and things like that, which is ComTech. ComTech's already pretty top tier. So I think with some collaboration and Mr. Bertrand, it would be things like fire department inspection of hydrants and making sure that all the caps are storts and annual flow testing and flushing of hydrants. And
there was quite a few areas too that have like old 4-inch main where fire flows, where it was low flow, it wouldn't get enough flow for them. So it'd be replacing some water main, and there would be some of that included in it.
Yeah, there'll be some work, but certainly, achievable. And by doing all those things, I think it's better that we identify a problem. Even if we can't fix it immediately, we know that,
You know what's there.
right, it doesn't surprise us in the middle of the night, so.
Right.
And it can be wrapped into when we're working on a street that has one of those mains.
Which we have been doing anytime we redo it. We've been putting 8 inches instead of 4-inch, which improves the flows.
Wow.
Working on it already.
Yeah.
But, largely it's about like having policy. Having a policy and a procedure and kind of following through on it. And then when we demonstrate those things to our auditor, the next thing you know, we're getting credit for all that stuff and boom, we're a 2. Then that's where the economic development strategy comes in, because don't build in that community. Don't put that business in that community. They're a 4. Come over here where we're a 2 and you're going to have an appreciable reduction in your insurance rates. Enough that you are going to cross that dotted line because this helps your bottom line.
Impressive. Yeah. Other effects. And I'm an overachiever, so
So she's going to help you get to it too.
Right, Laura's gonna figure it out.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Anybody? All right, we'll move on to objective 3. Yeah. Oh, yeah, Mr. Shipman.
Gotta go back.
He was hoping you were going to forget.
Well, I was only allowed 3 words, so I was trying to figure out how I was going to do that, but.
All right, 6 words.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Recreation. There's no way you're going
I
to
know, it's fine.
And
Brian still has one more.
everyone has something in there.
Yeah, so we,
Appreciate
as you know, we just got a new substation sergeant. So he used to work here years ago, worked with him for quite a few years. So he's come in like a ball of fire. I mean, he's got so many ideas that I don't know if he can get them all done. You know what I mean? Which is great.
Yes.
And so he just started a few weeks ago. So we're going to meet once a week. As soon as I get back from vacation, we're going to meet every Wednesday, 11 o'clock, and just have a check-in. So we won't just be doing quarterly, we'll be doing weekly.
What's his name again?
That's
Name.
Sergeant Lockaby,
Lockaby.
Robert Lockaby.
I know this is a point for objective 3, but maybe you could scratch it and move it here about having them present to the commission.
Yeah.
Regularly.
So you remember, it's been about a year. We had, maybe not quite a year, we had Commander Abro came in and did a presentation. So again, I talked about this with Sergeant Lockaby, and he said, well, I want to do more than that. So he said it would at least be biannually and possibly even quarterly, so.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then also just different opportunities for, safety trainings for churches. A lot of people still, I know the sheriff's office puts out, don't leave your keys in your car, but people do it anyway.
Yeah.
We have neighborhood groups that meet that could benefit potentially from having.
One of the things is, that they want to get back to is more community involvement, which is something that they were very good at. Now, they've had cuts in funding for a lot of their programs, but that's definitely on his list to do, is to get more involved in the community.
He mentioned connecting at the community center and stuff too, to me when I met him. So I think we'll see a lot more of that, which is good.
I think you're going to see a real big difference in the coming weeks.
All right. Are we good to move on to objective 3?
I'm just curious, do police and fire meet regularly?
No, not as frequently as we probably should.
Seems like that would be reasonable. Yeah.
Unofficially,
Right.
I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Unofficially all the time.
All right. Now, I'm looking at you, Commissioner Calhoun. Are we ready to move on to objective 3? Okay. A safe and clean community is an expectation for all residents, businesses, and visitors. Strategy 1, expand the Administrative Hearings Bureau to include rental properties and building code violations.
So yes, we did amend ordinances so that the city's property maintenance code and then the rental registration and inspection ordinance are now enforced through the Administrative Hearings Bureau. So we have done that.
Review and update the rental ordinance.
This has started. I have started this with the city attorney, so we plan to have this accomplished by this year. It's in the works.
Have the Macomb County Sheriff Department provide an in-person report to the commission annually. We just discussed that one.
We did.
Focus code enforcement strategy to reduce the number of vacant structures.
Yeah, we have been tracking the number of vacant structures. This is something that I think I asked for to be included in the strategic plan, just because it could be a good metric. So we are focusing on those when my staff is out doing their daily kind of rounds. They know they have that list with them, so that is something that we are actively doing.
Have we reduced any?
I think it's this was the first full year, 2025, that we've tracked. I think in that the commission's been getting quarterly reports of that list. So, I mean, it's getting down to a metric, but right now, when I ran the numbers at the end of 2025, there are 144 vacant structures in the list, residential and commercial. I think it's down slightly from when we first started doing it at the end of 2024. But obviously, at the end of this year, it'll be a good measuring stick.
Okay. Focus code enforcement strategy to reduce, that's what I just said. Walkability is a priority for our community and neighborhoods. Continue the city's sidewalk program to improve walkability while identifying financial strategies to accelerate ADA ramps and pedestrian crossing improvements.
Yeah, so we have been continuing the sidewalk program since its inception. Other than the downtown, which we had a presentation the other night, we made it completely through all the zones in the city. In fact, last spring, we went to zone 1 for the second round. This spring, we'll be going to zones 2 and 3 as part of round 2. And then the plan is to complete the downtown in 2027. So those sidewalk improvements do include any ADA ramp, either additions or reconstructs if they need it. And then we have gotten several TAP grants for ADA improvements as well. And then, of course, the DRP has completely made it walkable and eliminated, all of the curbs in that area.
Aren't we applying for another ADA ramp and pedestrian crossing at the North Walnut crossing of Cass?
That's going to be, an enhanced crossing is what we're trying for.
Anybody else?
One question for you, Brian. I haven't been to a hearing lately, but Tanya Grillo was talking about meeting to more standardization with respect to the fines and how they levy them at the Administrative Hearings Bureau, because it is just kind of like
Yeah, we did have a
off the top
meeting,
here.
Myself, Greg, my enforcement staff, and the 2 hearings officers to have that discussion. And we're going to be doing some review just in general of the fines and fees themselves, so that there is some more uniformity. So, and they were both on board with that.
Yeah, I know Tanya really wanted it.
And now we're losing Tanya.
Well, no, she's
I was just
not.
going to ask you, is she going to stay now that she's
she
going
is
to
not.
be a judge?
She is not.
I don't
But
think she can.
I don't think she
Yeah,
can. But
probably.
I do have another attorney that Tanya knows that's interested in being appointed. So she's been observing some, and
Okay.
so I'll be meeting with her shortly. So.
This question might pertain to what Laura was just asking. I don't know much about this whole process, but it seems to be a perception in the city that, especially vacant properties, that they're not cited for violations, or they don't pay, or we're not doing as much as we could. Do we feel like that's an area we need to improve in, or is it just that we need to correct the perception?
Well, I think sometimes the perception is when things aren't getting done. I mean, we can't force somebody to do it, so we find them, right? Through the Administrative Hearings Bureau. And oftentimes that still doesn't work.
Right.
So,
So are we collecting a lot of money? I don't know if there's a way to
we have a vacant, registration requirement. So residential properties pay an annual fee of $500, which was increased from $120 a couple of years ago. Hoping that would incentivize people to do something with the property. So.
And then we have the commercial vacant building.
Yeah, we have the commercial.
There's a fine.
That's the fees for that are even higher.
Right.
Those escalate. And
I guess I'm just wondering if the strategies or the metrics might give more information to the public so they know what's being done, or maybe we need to celebrate what's being done, or
we could definitely provide numbers and.
The problem is if you're looking at a problem property, and I mean, I've been going to these hearings for a while now, and one, the landlord doesn't show up, or the property owner, they fine them, then the fine goes up, then the fine goes up. I mean, and then they roll it into their taxes, and they open up a new AHB and start it all over again. And we know of one downtown that is,
right.
What are we just gonna do this for 10 years? I don't know. What do we do though?
I don't know, is there?
Well, that was part of what we discussed at our meeting. They can assess up to $10,000, right? And they could close the case and they could open it back up and they could assess another $10,000 if they want to. And it's like, we think it's time on some of these problem ones where they've made it clear that they don't care.
They don't care
about the fines or anything else, that maybe they need to find a way to make them care a little more.
I think the perception is that the city's not aggressive enough. So what kind of guidance can we get, and how aggressive can we be, and why not? We're not worried about hurting anybody's
for over 30 years, right? I mean,
our hammer is the fine, I think. If that doesn't motivate people, then I'm not sure what else we can.
We can go in and we can order cleanups, and we can order to cut grass, but you can't go in and,
I didn't know if our attorney could give us any more guidance, but it just seems like we should be doing more. Maybe we're doing everything we can, I don't know.
Would it be possible for one of the fines to be kind of similar how when you get a certain number of emergency response calls to a location,
Yeah.
You have that, it's not a nuisance fee, but
It's
whatever it is for,
nuisance, yeah.
is it a nuisance?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar to
Okay.
that, where if you have a property that gets a certain number or a certain longevity of fines through the AHB or citations through the AHB, you could apply that additional charge or what, I don't know.
A
The lawyers
nuisance
would need to
property,
figure that
right?
out, but something similar to that, if we can say, hey, if excessive service responses on the emergency services side justify this additional fee, then I don't see why we couldn't also do it on the code enforcement side.
Well, we could.
Yeah, we could, and that's certainly something we'll be looking at, definitely.
Through HB.
But we do gotta watch because it is governed by state statute, right? There's rules under the state statute of how it can function and exist. So,
It is an eye-opener. It is interesting. I mean, some of them are very boring, but it is interesting to hear this month after month because, you know, you've got one landlord who has a bunch of properties around here is in Italy. And he isn't paying attention, you know, it's, and if you pick up the code enforcement report, the open enforcement report, you know, right on the first page, you'll see the same properties. Month after month after month after month.
And we see that often where there'll be a property with a blight issue and we'll do a ticket, it's corrected, and 2 months later it pops back up again and we have to go back out there. So I think sometimes that's where the perception comes in that nothing's happening, but it is, it's just the nature of that property.
Yeah, we have to find a way to be more aggressive.
What are the other cities doing? Why isn't it happening there?
Oh, it does.
I think it happens here too.
Yeah. Here up to here.
Yeah. We do have number 6, explore and implement opportunities for bikeability in the city.
so I think that one's mine.
Yeah, Main Street will be bikeable, right?
That's totally black.
I mean, I can answer for it if you want.
No. I've got it here somewhere.
I don't know.
Objective 36.
Oh, there it is. So the city will be extending the bike path from the Clinton River Spillway Trail at Shady Side Park into the downtown via Main Street. Mount Clemens is also part of a grant-funded study to explore connecting bike trails between Mount Clemens, Clinton, Chesterfield, and Harrison Townships, and ultimately connecting to the Great Lakes Way Trail.
I hope I can still ride a bike when we get that done.
I'm not sure any of us are going to be riding a bike when
That's not how it
but
works.
it's got to start somewhere, right?
Right. All right, we're moving to metrics. I mean,
Before we do, there was a question that I
Oh,
wanted
okay.
to ask, and I kind of slept on it.
okay.
For number 3, under strategies, what specifically is that report that we want them to do annually, the county sheriff's department? Just a general report, or are we specifically talking about the subjects here, blight or?
No, they come in and they usually give you a breakdown of the different call types, you know, how many they went on, where they were located, what
Oh.
they've done to improve crimes in certain areas. And so they've got that transparency dashboard. And we
Yeah, I
had
think
that
they
work
do that
session
for the
on it.
planning commission, because when I was on that, they would come in and do
Yeah.
the breakdown.
So they're
Okay.
basically breaking down that information that could be available on that transparency dashboard for us.
Okay. I
It
got
gives us an opportunity to ask them questions too.
Okay.
But what the dashboard doesn't tell you is what they've done on their end to, you know, correct some of these hot spots, so to speak.
Right, right. So the other thing I wanted to mention, and I thought somewhere in here we talked about the tenant landlords handbook, or did I see that somewhere, that there would be a tenant landlord, or was that in, where is it?
I don't think it's,
Oh,
is it in
the
here?
rental ordinance? I just wanted to say that there are a lot of tenants that I've run into who don't know their rights at all. And I'm gonna give you a scenario. When I was running for this seat, I met a young man who lives in a building. It's a large frame house that the owner has carved up into 8 apartments. And he does not allow his tenants to use that address. So this young man could not vote because he didn't have a registered address, because he told them you cannot use this address, basically because he's doing something illegal by having these apartments carved up like that. It probably does not have the zoning permission to do what he's doing. So that's the kind of thing where the tenants need to know that no one can strip you away from your rights to where you pay rent to use that address and to be able to vote and become a registered voter. So I'm just saying, if there's any way that we can take a closer look at how misinformed some of these tenants are, I think that we would benefit from that, and the city would benefit from it.
Did you report that problem? Is there something we should be concerned with?
Yeah, 'cause that-
I do have the address, and until this moment, I had totally forgotten about it because there were so many things that I had notes on.
Right.
But I will find his address.
Yeah, because especially if that was recently done, I mean, there's a ordinance from a long time ago that
That's horrible.
during the recession, wasn't it, when we did where people can't take single family houses and divide them into.
Oh, no, you have to get,
Right, so I mean, that would have been, and he probably knows that, that's why he's, right, so
Yeah, you're probably not registered as a rental.
Right, that too. Yeah.
On that point, the city of Ann Arbor, it's actually in the charter that requires that new renters get a handbook. A portion of it is written by the city attorney, a portion of it is written by private attorneys that the city's worked with just very basic information on the rights of tenants. Could be something that would be hard for us to create and perhaps have landlords present it to tenants upon getting the lease. Although if it's in the legal lease, it would be gotten it. But still having it available on the website makes it accessible to people who are then Googling, what to do about the situation.
Sure.
The state of Michigan produces a document too. It's tenant landlord rights and responsibilities. We do provide that to tenants when they come into the office. But we deal primarily with landlords, right? We don't have a relationship with tenants, so sometimes it's difficult to get that information from the city to them, but it is available.
Perhaps, well, I would like to follow up on the rental ordinance.
Yeah.
To hear the direction you guys want to take that and just find out more.
Okay, is there any, on the metrics, anybody want to comment on the metrics?
Nope.
But can we make that a strategy to help better inform tenants? And then there could be a metric maybe that would measure that, but that seems to point to the objective of having a safe and clean community for residents.
Would there be, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
okay, would there be an appetite for a dollar figure for how much we brought in through the age?
Yes,
You
and
want to know that?
you do know that number, right? You have that number.
And whether it's more than the year before,
We-
Now, but
We forgive a lot too, because if they get it done, but I think there has to be a minimum. I don't care if you end up at the AHB. because you
That was
haven't
part of
done
our
it.
discussion.
part of our
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you're gonna, if you actually get to here, you've had so many chances, you're
I
gonna pay
agree.
something.
well, yeah, all the time and effort that went to getting them there, yeah.
And especially since there's a lot of landlords.
There's a lot of there's a lot of people involved.
There is, and the attorneys and the John and Gary's time. I mean, it's, so, yeah.
All right, I think we can move on to our last.
Can we look
not-
later, maybe just review these metrics? Not necessarily right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe, yeah,
But
a
I'm sure
second
that
version.
they're-
Yeah. Last but not least, recreation, creating impactful recreation.
No,
Did I skip
capital
something?
improvements.
Oh,
You might have lost a page.
I lost a page.
I wasn't
sorry.
gonna tell her.
Page
You guys can
16.
tell her.
Can I have it?
And if you wanna skip it, we can.
Page 16. She didn't have it.
All right, sorry, Lenny. Capital improvements. Capital improvements heavily impact the quality of life and must be effectively and strategically addressed. Objective 1, improve the city infrastructure through a needs assessment and convey those successes to the residents. Strategy 1, emphasize educating the public on our current capital improvement efforts by developing a plan of action on how to communicate construction projects to business and residents.
I mean, we talked about this, right, our mechanisms of doing that. So
Yeah.
I think we've covered that about 3 times now. So unless we want to come up with something different, we can go down to 2.
Oversee a feasible, actionable, and sustainable funding strategy for the city's CIP needs built on community input, fiscal realities, and affordability that can be incorporated into the 24-25 fiscal year budget.
So the budget process begins in February and includes a review of the CIP, water and sewer rates, and the 5-year projection. Meetings with the commission include a water and sewer rate meeting, a 5-year projection, and budget meeting. And there is also a public hearing on the budget.
Okay, okay. Develop a plan to
I'm
address.
sorry, not as long as Kevin
No,
and Dan
I'm-
went.
I'm
mean,
good with it.
I can stretch this out if
I'm
you
just
want.
I was waiting for comment. Okay, develop a plan to address street conditions.
So the city utilizes the PASER reports to help determine which streets are in critical need of replacement. And we have a plan to replace streets every other budget year currently.
This is a year, right?
No,
We did
last year,
grant
we just
last
did
year.
But we had a grant.
the grant, and then we did about $1 million in local streets
Oh, that's right.
repairs.
Didn't we discuss, there were 2 different paths we're looking at. There was phasing, right? But then there was another one that accounted for more. We were looking at moving to that structure.
Not that I know of. I mean, yeah, that's the industry standard, and
I'm sure it's not that, because we're somebody else is doing our pacer this time, so it might be that.
They were also,
yeah, I mean, so it's done, the update's done, and we're just in a review process on our end to make sure we,
Are you guys
Agree
talking
with
about
that.
when they also like look at is there water and sewer underneath and all that, and then?
oh, that's
be
just
able
our
to-
in-house. Yeah, so what we do is we take the PASER report, and then of course, we look at how much money we have, and we say, what roads are the worst? And a lot of time, what we've been doing lately, because we haven't had the money in water and sewer, we've been doing the streets that don't need water and sewer improvements, that still have a poor rating, right? But what I said before is we're getting to the point where we're running out of streets that don't have water and sewer, unless we want to go to a street that still has a poor rating, but maybe not as bad as the one that. So we're getting to the point where we got to start doing some of those. So,
Okay, develop a plan to address downtown parking. Got that.
all right. Yeah, so the city commissioned a parking study to address downtown parking. The recommendations of the study are being implemented. You know, we put in the kiosks and we're replacing single vehicle meters. So that was part of that plan. And then our repair and replacement schedule is based on that plan as well.
Monitor the cost of the GLWA connection project with a focus on customer affordability.
So Fishbeck represents the city to keep engineering and construction costs within budget on this project. So we have weekly construction meetings during the construction season, and to date, the project is still on budget.
Investigate opportunities to continue to enhance the city's capital improvement planning process. Consider tools that streamline the process.
Because Plant Moran handles our CIP, I mean, they've got all the tools and resources they could possibly have. So, you know, we have them at our disposal and all of their resources.
Can we include something there? You know, we had the work session on the dumpster issue, and then we kind of, unless you guys addressed it while I was.
Yeah, no, so where that's left at, right, 'cause remember I came to you and I had a plan and then some people were opposed to it. And so you notice that there's 2 dumpsters still sitting in the street.
Yes.
And so the one dumpster is La Taqueria Pinguino.
The taco place.
The taco place. Yeah, and so I talked to the landlord's representative there and said, hey, you know, we can't put this back here. So I wanted him to share with one of the New Street lot dumpsters. So he was supposed to be checking with one of the owners there that he knew well to share. I'm gonna touch base with him again. The other one is shared by,
Cherry Street Mall.
huh?
It's a Cherry Street Mall. It's my dumpster.
What one?
Don't the other one that's on the street?
Well, that one that's on the street is claimed to be owned by Mr. Lucido and 85. They say they share that.
It's the Cherry Street Law.
And I don't want to tell you, sent me a picture of it because we didn't know whose it was, right?
Who pays the bill?
And so, because if we didn't find out, we were just going to haul it, because then you find out whose it is if you take it over
I
to.
thought it was in the corral.
Yeah, well, I'll have to check on that, because what went in the corral is supposedly what was in the lot. So I'll have to verify that with Jeff when he gets back, but
The
bottom
dumpsters
line
have been
is,
moving around at night.
so in talking to them, right, so I explained, because they want to know where their dumpster can go, because it was over on Cherry Street. So I explained that, the whole story, and that, we were looking to put a third enclosure there. There was some opposition to it, and it was recommended that the enclosure be put over in Market Street lot. So now they're opposed to that, because that's too far, and New Street's too far, and they want it where I wanted to put it. So where this is right now is back in your court, quite honestly, because we got pretty much two choices here. We can say we've got two enclosures, and we can pass an ordinance like we talked about, stating that everybody will participate in using these dumpsters unless they can provide a viable means to get rid of their trash. And say, anybody that complains, say, well, that's what we're doing. Or we could put a third one in the Market Street lot, but it's a long ways from everybody. Or that original plan I brought to you is still available to put that third enclosure there. We had a presentation at the DDA, and I don't want to speak for the DDA, but my impression that I got back from that is they thought we needed a third one, and that Market Street was too far away. So that's where we're at with it.
I don't know if we want to discuss that now, so.
No, my thought was I want to discuss it. I wanted to
Because that would
discuss
be a
it
big
at a work
discussion.
session when we
But
get
there's
a
another
minute.
prong to that too, okay, so that's got to be solved soon, right?
Yeah.
Soon. I mean, we
Okay,
got two
but
dumpsters sitting
We're
there.
3 hours and 20 minutes in, so
Yeah.
I need to finish the strategic plan.
Well, again, I had it solved.
I don't,
and then-
maybe
then
we go
it got
back, we
tabled,
gave the
right?
guy
So-
the chance, but he did do a great report, we have to say that. We got to give him some credit.
Well,
But-
there's
but-
nothing in there that we didn't already propose except moving the dumpster enclosure to a new location.
So we'll
Everything else we're
probably
already
buy
going to
the
do.
property, put a nice enclosure there and put the dumpsters there, but there's
Listen,
also
that's your
the other
decision.
dumpsters, like Roscop, and, there were some suggestions in there. and
We
that-
are not tackling the dumpster issue right now.
But should it be in their strategic plan? That's my question.
No.
Now, I don't want to talk about dumpsters, but I'm just saying, should it be something that we look at?
The master plan.
Yes, maybe it's in the master plan, but it seems like something that we should look at.
Yeah, I mean, hey, we can put it in here, but, and we're not going to talk about dumpsters, I know, but I'm going to
Right,
tell
we
you,
don't talk about
no matter what you do, somebody's going to complain. So if that's going to be the barometer, right, then we're never going to put them in anyway.
No, I think we just
So-
I think, for myself, like I would have to really understand, think it through again, and you go with your best decision. You don't expect everybody's going to agree.
Yeah.
We're not looking for a solution that everybody's going to be happy with. But
Yeah, I mean, if I had one, I'd give it to you, trust me, but.
I personally don't think it belongs in the strategic
I
plan.
don't either.
It's a sticky issue, but I don't think it's a strategic plan issue.
Then I think it belongs somewhere, though.
Sure.
It needs to be
On the
resolved.
agenda.
Yes,
for
well,
another meeting.
it's going to
Well,
sneak up
agenda
on
will
us
never do
real
it.
soon.
yeah.
Dumpster works.
We did. And we need to have another one if we can squeeze one in somewhere, but we got a lot of stuff going on, so.
All right, I'm
Let's
pushing
have
this
it uptown
along
where we
because
can
this
see
is getting a
uptown.
little crazy. So, okay, anyone else on capital improvements, please?
You were finishing up metro.
I heard some,
You didn't.
do we need the metro? Yeah. Do we,
No, let's just read them, so.
Yeah.
Public.
does anyone have any? Okay. Okay, let's move to recreation. Last but not least, Carl. Recreation.
Everybody loves Carl. It's a good way to end.
I know, right? Recreation. Creating impactful recreational opportunities within the city to enhance the quality of life for all residents and visitors. Objective 1, recreation for all city residents will be enhanced as resources allow and collaborations are forged. Strategies 1, conduct a feasibility study of all facilities and grounds related to recreation with a recommended action plan for a service delivery to include consolidation options. Carl?
So in July, we got our rec advisory board back operational. This is a task that we're going to have as we work on building our master plan, our master recreation plan. But in essence, the essence of it is the Mount Clemens Recreation Department currently operates with minimal staffing, one full-time director, one part-time staff member, and some wonderful volunteers. This lean operation model necessitates a strategic efficiency in facility utilization and programming delivery. We currently manage, I'm not going to read everything, but we have a basic outline of what we have and how we service it. Moving forward, we have several different options that we can do with our buildings. We basically have a hub and a wheel type system going on. Carnes Community Center has become the main hub of what recreation is because a lot of programming happens there. Wilson has minimal programming and quite a few rentals that I've pushed over there, and I try to keep them over there. With our new system that we upgraded our software to, it kind of makes it a lot easier because it's online. People can go on there, look at the calendar, see if there's a vacancy, and I'll put in a rental request, which we then accept or reject depending on what's going on. I think that's great moving forward with Wilson, and I'd like to try and push a majority of our rentals over to that area, but still have programming because I don't want to leave anybody in the city out. As far as Mount Clemens Community Center on Groesbeck, Meals on Wheels has began operations in the community center, and they just got state approval to do their in-dine services, so that will be starting shortly. So it seems like that would be a great location for us to have a senior center and to move some of our senior programming over there so that that building is utilized. And then Carnes Community Center continue what we're doing as far as our outside parks, looking for different grant opportunities so that we can enhance them. We've already done, through Brian's work, some great improvements over at Carnes Community Center with the outdoor park, and we're currently working on the park expansion. We also have the availability to do some work over at Lawndale with some other CDBG funds. So it would be to enhance our parks, to make sure that all residents have access to recreation that's within walking distance of where they live, which isn't super hard for us because we're like 4 square miles. So we should be able to put things, put nice services in areas where all of our citizens can reach them. From a consolidation standpoint, of course, it would be to minimize services at Groesbeck, to completely turn Wilson into just rentals, which I think there'd probably be some community pushback if we didn't at least have some programming over there. And with Carnes, we've done so much with capital improvements and we still have money left to improve it that it wouldn't make sense to do anything but keep that building up. And that's the basic gist of what I have that I'm going to present to the Rec Advisory Board as part of what we add into our strategic plan.
Good.
So any questions?
Can we go through 2 and then we'll work with local entities to add recreation opportunities through partnerships?
Yeah, so 2 and 4 kind of go together if everybody notices. So to give you some numbers on what we have for partnerships, we currently have 26 groups that we're working with. 8 of them are continued groups that we have worked with in the past, and 18 of them are brand new. And those go from everything to providing services, to helping with services, to funds acquisition with Advancing Macomb. And some of those are Anton Art Center with our art classes, MedStar with our free CPR classes, the library. The schools help us do marketing. Everything I've sent to them, they've put out to the students, and it's kind of helped increase our numbers. We do cardio drumming with the new disc golf groups that have come into town. We now have, it's called a Putters League that's been happening at Carnes so that they can do stuff during the winter months. We've partnered with the Worship Center to do food giveaways every other Saturday. Even within our own departments, DPW and Dial-A-Ride came over and had a conversation during our senior luncheon to make sure all our seniors understood what services are offered in our city. We got a really great response with the people who came to that, so we're going to try and do that on a more regular basis just to try and spread information. So Chief, that would be a great one to invite you to also come and talk about fire safety and bring some alarms with. I'm not going to read everyone that's on the list.
That's great.
That's
Vision.
That's what we have as far as partnerships.
Well, don't forget DEA.
Yeah, which you will be hearing about soon. We're going to do a partnership for our Easter egg Easter event in downtown Mount Clemens. So that way we can bring in everybody to come, and Mickey is graciously helping me bring in a lot of our businesses that are downtown, because this will help benefit them. The more people we can get, we've got about 14,000 eggs, which afterwards I got a really good idea on how we actually make that happen. Well, we already have the eggs, so we'll talk after. Yes, we have a lot of eggs.
Every commissioner has to stuff 2,000 eggs.
I like that.
Start now. All right. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on any of those before we get to 3, 5, and 6?
Just want to thank you for what you're doing with the Grossbeck Community Center. I've stopped and we've talked about it. I just talked to Mayor Pye today. Very happy to see programming. Happy to see things happening there. I'm done.
Awesome.
Anybody else? All right. Carl, 3, 5, and 6.
Yes. So seeking financial resources. So we have gone after, we've had some wonderful partners with donations. We've gone after some grants and one compensation for a group that I'm a part of, a think tank. So for specifically programming, we have gotten $25,675 that we can use specifically for programming. For capital improvements and programming, everything together, we had a total possible of $497,250, but one grant we didn't get that was for $25,000. That was mayoral grant. So
I didn't deny them a good organization.
No. Yeah. The mayor sent it to me to go after, and we didn't get chosen by the group. It was a Mayoral Alliance grant for No Kids Hungry to help us work on feeding kids through the summertime. So we ended up with $472,250 for capital improvements and for programming. Part of that was CDBG funds that Brian went after and got for the parks, as well as for Carnes, the kitchen upgrades, and then a big chunk of that was also the HUD grant that we got. And some of what we've already done is kitchen equipment upgrades, technology upgrades at Carnes, playground at Carnes, also city funds that were spent to put disc golf in at Shadyside, and then the lighting upgrades that are happening right now. And all of those total so far to be $258,655.52.
They still have 2 years to go,
Yes.
roughly.
Yes. We still have money to spend to continue doing upgrades at Carnes, as well as there are some options for some improvements at Lawndale Park that we're working on, plus the planning stages now that are for the playground expansion. It just hasn't been solidified. I believe the money's there. We just got to get all the planning finished.
Are they putting the water out at Lawndale for the ice skating?
Yep. So it needs to be thoroughly frosted in the ground to make sure that the water stays. But we also have, for the first year, as long as it should be feasible, we have 2 hockey nets that when they go to flood everything, we're going to put up there so that they freeze in, because there's apparently at Lawndale quite a bit of activity that happens. And there's a lot of kids that play hockey out there, and they just kind of shoot into the snowbanks. So we're going to put some nets out there that we have.
I think there was an offer by a resident to also get us hockey nets for Wilson, so I can help you connect with that person.
Yes, please.
It seems like the timing should be right to freeze the roof.
Yeah, it seems like it's
about as frosty as we're gonna get. Yeah. With the kitchen redo at Carnes, is that something that we need to add to your strategies? Is like bringing in or allowing people to utilize that space for like renting out the kitchen for?
Yes, so that's something that City Manager Shipman already put me in contact with Macomb County to do an alliance with them to help businesses that are currently operating out of their homes, to allow them to upscale by renting the facility at low cost, as long as they agree to also partner on programming. So you can come in and you can use the facility for a low cost, but then you also at least teach a class for us, whether that's for our youth or our seniors. That way, one, we're making it economical, but we're also getting a benefit out of them coming in and using the kitchen.
Great. Very good. Okay.
Yes, I remember someone was implementing that years ago, but the promise looks good to see it happening.
Yeah, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. And then number 5, develop a plan to enhance and promote the kayak launch at MacArthur.
Okay. So MacArthur Park Kayak Launch represents a very significant untapped asset in the Mount Clemens Parks portfolio. And a strategic plan for marketing would be to create it as a destination marketing area and coordinate with other groups, which we have already. I serve as the representative for Mount Clemens on the Water Trail Vendor Collaboration, which is through the Clinton River Watershed Council. So they're going to be putting stuff out and showing us as an area that should be utilized to take part in the beautiful Clinton River. And on top of that, we should be hosting kayak and paddling events to try and get the word out that we have this, and hopefully draw attention to the area, and also tout our downtown area, that while they're here, after you get done paddling and you're nice and hungry, you should stop in downtown Mount Clemens and grab some food.
At least at Octopus Beer Garden. Yeah. Stumble there. All right. Okay. Anybody else got questions for Carl?
Did the kayak launch, was it active this last
So we ran into a couple hiccups to get everything off the ground this year. We had to get them registered, which took a little bit of time.
The vendor.
Yes.
The kayak people.
The lockers.
The locker people.
Yes, but now that we have understood the requirements that we need to make sure that we are under, we are already in contact to make sure, one, we're trying to get the opportunity to choose when they reopen, because currently they set the time, but we would like to set the time based on when we feel it should be acceptable for our residents and the rest of the members of the public to use. And we will get them registered sooner this time, because we know everything that's needed and where to go get it from. At no fault of our own, it was completely on the company that we were using.
Yeah.
And it was a bit of a back and forth to get it actually done, because it was required to use their mechanics. And then eventually we
were
did
in
it.
Ohio.
Yes.
It was a whole thing.
But it did open, it did.
Yes.
Eventually, yes.
It did,
Now they're
right.
trying to say that they wouldn't open until the water temperature is like 68 degrees. So July. I mean, the Clinton River never
They're
gets to
making
68
rules
degrees.
up as we go. We
Yeah.
may be,
We'll get them there.
they may be talking to the attorney here soon. We're like right there.
Yeah.
I don't suppose there's a lot of kayak locker people out there that
I don't know, it seems like it's a thing.
We had quite a bit of interest, so we did
Yeah.
have quite a bit of people that were calling and asking when they were going to be open because we had to post signage saying that they weren't available, which also had my office number on it. So we got plenty of inquiries to where once we have them open, I believe we'll get some nice utilage out of them, and then be able to enhance that by promoting it and marketing it further.
I mean, if this company's not working out or not cooperating, is there another company that you?
Yeah.
I don't know how many are out there.
Well, the issue is we invested in it, right, to put the, like, to do, so we wanna, we might push the litigation piece first and then,
Sad part is they offer all sorts of locker opportunities for a lot of stuff.
Other
And
things.
it looked like it was going to be great. I'm like, not with them.
not at this point,
You know.
but we're hoping we can get them to maybe just have some different staffing maybe, and maybe we can get them there, right? I mean, but it wasn't real promising at the end of it.
That's too bad.
Well, hopefully, with the city attorney's help, we'll be able to just maintain more power over how they're utilizing what happens. Because I believe, if I'm not mistaken, after 5 years, they become ours.
They're ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Oh, the lockers there.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. So. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I'll ask for. Oh my God.
Didn't I?
No, I think.
Yeah, I went through a number of partnerships, grants, and pilots.
And we're not gonna give anybody an opportunity to comment.
You were sleeping over there.
Yep. Yes, I'm sure.
Overarching point,
Yeah.
not to discuss this evening, but maybe something that maybe could talk about and the commission can talk about later.
Yep.
It might be interesting, it might be good for us to add in something about homelessness to the strategic plan. But that's a conversation I think.
Maybe under safety.
Can work on under safety.
I think that's a great idea.
Maybe even just acknowledging the ad hoc committee and the recommendations that we plan to have at the end of the year and all that kind of thing.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
And I think we need to put a section in for Lenny because he got off scot-free tonight.
Yeah.
One of the most important.
Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right, well, I'll ask for commissioner comments. I'm not gonna go each, but whoever.
I'll pass.
Okay. All right, seeing none, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn the work session.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, everyone, for all the work tonight, and have a great night.